Prophet Marshall Occurrence. So this video is going to be about a prophet is not here for people to see that person on display or for the testing. Being tested by the community. And I have to say this because there's a certain type of spirit or a corny worldview, even though they ain't never done it before. It's a type of worldview that if there's some type of prophet or some type of leader, we're going to put this person to the test, right? And that's what you've been doing. The only problem with that is what you should be concerned about is God did not authorize you to test me. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. God ain't authorized that foolishness out there. So then let's call it how it is. It's not a spiritual effort. It's not a divine effort, okay? So it ain't got nothing to do with God, right? Okay. That's all we establishing. We establishing that. Okay, ain't got nothing to do with God. Because, filthy as your country is and your community is, you don't need to see nothing about me. You don't need to know anything about me. If you don't say this, it's a kooky kind of community that think, well, we're going to see who the prophet is and we're going to see him, put him to the test, and we're going to see who he is and see if he... Nah, you don't need to see who I am. That's not for you to do. See, what happens is when you do that and you challenge me, right, in this way, like nothing's going to happen to you, you're going to get challenged right back by God's kingdom. Hear this part. Christians out there can do nothing for you. They can't get you into safety. They can't pull you into safety once you came out here playing with a prophet. It's what it is. It's what it is, man. And it's not about me per se, it's about my position. It's a big difference. It's not about me personally, who I am as a person. It's about the position that I'm in. Just like if you was in the military and you got a general, right? That general is going to be protected at all costs. If children gotta die, if people gotta die, that general is not gonna die for children. I'm sorry to tell you. If you was in the military, you had two opposing forces. And let's just say for whatever reason, children came to the equation on the opposite opposing side. And it became somewhat of a threat against the general, right? Those children gonna die in order for that general to live. And so for people that's goofy to want to test the limits are gonna see what the limits are. You're gonna see how far it goes. Where, we didn't think that would happen. Ooh, we didn't think that would happen. Ooh, we didn't think that would happen. But it did. So the corny person just wants to see how far this goes. See how far God will go to protect me. And that's not the game you want to play. Because I can prove with the Bible, right? When it comes to a prophet, right? And you're stuck on it. I'm not stuck on it. I just stay in my position. My position is the prophet. Okay, so I can show you in the Bible where children were cursed for a prophet. I can show you that. Where when it came down to the prophet and children died. Now, if you have this half-baked smoothie kind of Christianity where you're taking a smoothie, you're drinking a smoothie, and you're half-baked, and you might smoke weed on the low a little bit. I'm not talking about your perspective. This is the Bible. The Bible says this. If touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. Now, is it about me? No. You're getting into who the person is. It's not about the person. It's about the position. It's not about who I am as an individual. You know what I'm saying? It's about the position that I'm in. Just like you have somebody in the military, you gonna respect that position. You don't have to know this person personally who's in this position. You're gonna respect the position that that person is in, and that's that. That's that. And you could die, no problem. You're gonna respect his position. And guess what? I'm not perfect in my position. And guess what? You still gonna respect the position. Just like any other human being is not perfect in any position. You still gonna respect my position. Let me say that again. I'm not perfect in this position. And you still gonna respect this position. Just as if just as if we are perfect. Does that make sense? In other words, you gonna respect us in this position as if we ain't done no wrong. Because you can't do nothing if we do. What you gonna do? See, the problem is, listen, man. Listen, the problem is, you think you got some committee or seniority over me. You think that, don't you, as black people? Black people think they, who out there got some seniority over me? Who got seniority over me? Who would you dare say got seniority over me? That's black out there. Huh? We done washed up Freemasons. We done washed up secret societies. You can't mention them. Okay, so who? 5%ers, that's a joke. They still smoke tobacco. Their leader, Clarence X, told them they could smoke and everything. It's a difference between, I know this is wrong what I'm doing, as opposed to teaching people that they could do it. You see the difference? You can have a struggle with that, but you don't teach others to do it. Clarence X basically taught his followers it was okay for them to smoke. Yeah, he did. Therefore, 5%ers, and based off their leader, you followed him, don't you? You followed Clarence X, right? His teachings. Okay, you couldn't possibly be my leader. You couldn't possibly have seniority over me. That's impossible. Listen, because when we look at the food chain, the spiritual food chain, I outrank you. So it's all in your arrogance that you think you have some seniority, whether it be by black culture, black people, authorities, hip hop culture. None of that stuff has no seniority over me. I will remind you that Malcolm X did not have any money, but he had authority. I remind you that the best of you had no money, but they had authority. Okay, so this is where it gets dangerous, where we get the arrogant people that don't realize this. Okay, I am not a student of Martin Luther King Jr. That's not my master. That's not my sensei. Not whatsoever. Because his family was Freemasons. But he didn't have anything, and he was your authority in the black community. He didn't have no money. So my point is this. Between MLK and Malcolm X, your leaders had authority over you and rank over you, and they had no money. If I don't say this, you will think that I gotta have money to have seniority over you, which is silly to me. But here we are. Stranger things have happened. So I just want to make that clear. I don't have to have money to have outrank these people. Okay? You just didn't know I was in that same lane. You just didn't know I was in a higher lane. Okay? Now you understand. Now you get it. Now you see the spiritual manifestations. Now you see things that you can't make up. Now you see things happening that you can't make up. Now, the rubber's meeting the road. So now you're forced to acknowledge that I am authentic, right? Not perfect. Authentic. And you're going to respect this position. That's just what it is. You got a problem with it? You got to take it up with God. Not me. You can't take it up with me. You got a problem with my position? Take it up with God. See, this is how clean and simple you keep it. It's not complicated. Okay? You're going to respect this position or suffer. That's it. I'm not asking anybody to kiss my butt. I don't like butt kissers because they can't be trusted. They'll kiss somebody else's butt. So I don't. So if you think I'm one of those people, I don't like butt kissers. I don't respect them. I don't respect people who bow down to people. But when it's obvious that you got to show respect, it's different. It's different from bowing down. It's the numbers, you see the manifestations, you see everything. I'm not asking anybody to bow down to me. That's why I make it so much easier for people who actually do listen to me and respect me. Because I'm not asking nobody to bow down to me. It's a position. It's just like you go in the military. Once I put on this suit and go in the military, right? The personal part is off. I can know you personally. But once we're in battle, once we're in uniform, okay, the personal part between me and you has to cease. Now you have to respect this position that I'm in. That's just like two people at a job. If I'm the manager, okay, we can be cool outside the job, but when we on this clock, right, you got to take my commands. You got to take my commands. You can't be like, oh yeah, that's my homie, I get to it when I'm ready. Nah, bro, listen. And see, that's why you have to have a distinguished difference, because some people don't have the discipline to be your homie and submit to your position. That's the problem that black people got. They see you as a brother, but they can't submit to your position, and that's the problem. So then you have to distinguish. You have to put a line and draw a line, because people see you as a brother, and they can't see past that. Don't show that you know the culture. Don't show that you know black history. Don't show that you know what's going on around here. They gonna make that. They gonna take that. Some people gonna take it as, you a cool brother, but you have to respect my prophetic position. When we're on the clock, you have to respect this position. It's that simple. Okay, that's how it is. So see, I made it very clear. Like, it's no excuse. If people have misperceptions of me, or they don't know what's going on, it's not my fault. That's why I love clarifying things for the record. So you can't say, oh well, we thought he was trying to make people bow down. I ain't never tried to make nobody bow down. No. You don't know me personally, okay? So if you knew me personally, you would know I don't even like bullies. I don't like bullies. I don't like people who kiss butt. I don't like people who bow down to people. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to a matter of position, you gotta respect it. You see numbers. You see this person talking about things nobody else talked about. Child marriage laws in America. None of these rappers, none of these singers, none of these people, your leaders, none of them said nothing. So you gotta respect that. Now, if you the type that only respect your leaders and you don't respect the truth, then see, I'm not talking to you either. I don't care where the truth is coming from. It could have been somebody that I thought was an enemy, or somebody I perceived to still be an enemy. But the truth is the truth. If they marrying children, they can't come out against no prophet. That's the truth. Whether you biased towards America or not. Now, if you're not built like that, if you're like a little kid, that goes along and you just go along with people and you know what I'm saying, and you don't look at the truth for what it is, besides friend or foe. You know what I'm saying? That part plays a big deal for you to perceive the truth or digest the truth. I can digest the truth no matter who it comes from. The highest level of being a student is to learn from your enemies. And some people haven't went to that level of studentship. You only learn from your friends. Think about that for a minute. You only learn from your friends, don't you? You only learn from your friends. That sounds kind of corny, but it's true, ain't it? People learn from their friends. That's it. I learn from anybody. I'll take intelligence and information from anybody. If it's the truth, it's the truth. It's what it is. That's how how it is, man. You know, my thing is this, man. What you have to understand is the Americans stepped on my feet long time ago. They stepped on my toes. That's what I want to say. They stepped on my toes long time ago. Okay? And I can't summarize all of that at one time, all the time. You gotta at some point get on with the show. They disrespected me for years and years and years. And this war has been going on for quite some time. And so if you're not able to understand that how progressive this war has been and where it's at, you're going to just look at me and think I'm just a cruel person, and this war has been going on for years and years. So imagine a war going on for years and years. Okay, what do you think that person is going to sound like? They got a whole agenda against the enemy. That's what it's going to sound like. That's exactly what it's going to sound like. If I'm at war with you for years and years, it's going to sound like I got this complex war against this opposite side. And that's what it should be. That's what it should be. That's what it should be. That's what it is. So it's no need to talk about, well, you know, we think this person should just chill. Not how? That means you don't know how long this been going on, do you? No, you don't. They ain't tell you, did they? This been going on for years. Do you know what I mean when I say years? That means no breaks, no breaks. That's why people are amazed. No time off. I didn't have any time off. Now you see what I'm saying? But I'm now winning. So then it's relief in the wins. It's relief in the victory. It's relief in God strengthening me and empowering me through these situations. It's victory in fasting. God refreshing my spirit. You know, but this has went on 24/7. That's why I need you to understand. 365 days of a year, 52 weeks of a year. This has been going on consistently, right? I supposed to sound like this. This is how a man sounds, okay? After consistent warfare, right? 365 days of a year, 52 weeks, 24/7. 24/7, 365 days of a year, and 52 weeks of a year. This is what it's supposed to sound like. Okay, so that covers my attitude. That covers why I'm in this position, why I'm talking like this. Okay, so you're not a simple person, right? Okay, so this is how a person sounds after years of going to war. Okay, listen, I have to talk to people like this. Cause they looking at me like, you know, I'm unreasonable. I'm not unreasonable. After years of them playing with me, no, you didn't, you know, some people act like this just started yesterday. It did not just start yesterday. So then, this is how I sound after many years. Okay, that's just what it is. And I like to think I'm handling myself quite gracefully, considering the circumstances of these people playing with me for years and years. I'm handling myself quite gracefully. And most people are going to say that. So most people that know the real history, they're that's why they're with me. Even though you might hear me hit below the belt or say some things you don't think is right, but this is years and years of war. And when you ask anybody who's gone to war for many years, what do you think of the enemy? The enemy becomes the scum of the earth. That's what they become. If you got any military that goes to war with another military, years and years later, what happens? The enemy becomes the scum of the earth. Of course you're gonna hit below the belt. Of course you're gonna say things while you're on the battlefield about the enemy. And you done been in war with them for years and years. Think about it. Ask any military personnel, how was you talking about the enemy on the battlefield? That's 7 hours. How was you talking about You might even say something that was racist. No, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. If you was in another country and you was going to war with a different race of people for years and years, you don't think you're gonna say some suggestive things that might sound kind of racist about the enemy? I bet you would. That's what it is. Now you see what I'm saying. After years of going to war, people will come and judge how you handle it. And you use that American Christianity approach. And this is a war. It is American Christianity because it's holding you to this behavior, this certain behavior. And my Bible tells me, be angry and sin not. But some Christians wouldn't even let you be angry. They'll act like you shouldn't be even angry. But the Bible says, be angry and sin not, right? Right. So you have the right, the biblical right to be angry. See, this is what's important when we start gauging people's personality, personal personality, and their character. Okay, first of all, a person is allowed to be angry according to the Bible. Okay, we got that understood, right? Okay, so you don't think I'm tripping according to the Bible. You don't think I'm tripping according to the biblical, being biblical, right? You don't think I'm tripping. Because you see that you're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to be a human being, in other words. If somebody playing with you, you're allowed to be angry. Let me say that again. If people are playing with you, right, you are allowed to be angry. If America is playing in your face, you know what I'm saying, you're allowed to be angry. This is why I don't even judge people that's around the situation. You know why? Because I know somebody else told you this information. Somebody else told you this. And that's what we getting at. We're gonna get to the root of this. Not just my brother. Y'all talking about brother. Oh, but you followed his. You did this yourself. He ain't do this. My brother ain't got nothing to do with you using your free will to do what you doing. He ain't got nothing to do with this. Is he up here now? No, you up here. So for ignorant people that would say, well, your brother, no, you don't need to say nothing about that. Because you're using your free will, not having enough evidence to do anything to me. You used your free will to do what you did. You can't blame him for your actions. No, you're a grown man. You're a grown woman. I expect you to understand this. You a grown man or woman. How you gonna blame him for what you did? Well, your brother, that's what you gonna say to me? You'll be insulting my intelligence. You listen, you are your own man. You make your own decisions and your own, you form your own opinions of people. If you go by other people's opinions, what that say about you as a man? I'm taught in the South and bred in the South. I form my own opinions of people. That's what I do. I don't go by what nobody else is saying. I'm not going to go by what nobody else is saying. I'm going to form my own opinion, and from the very beginning, I would have never been in your situation because it wasn't enough evidence for me to want to do something to the person. Not even testing the person. Nope, I ain't gonna want to test that person. For what? No, I'm not gonna want to test that person. For what? It's not enough evidence for somebody like me to want to get involved. See, it's a certain type of people. This is the truth. You're a certain type of people that will test people when you don't have enough evidence. These secret society people, you're the type of people that will test people and you don't have enough evidence to do it. You see that part right there? That's 7 out. And see, you know what happens when you clash and collide with somebody like me? It's gonna be a war, and that's all there is to it. You're the type of people that can only strive when there's not enough evidence. That's why they even bring you in, because there's not enough evidence. Woo! They brought you in because it wasn't enough evidence. That's an oxymoron. You don't bring people in when there's not enough evidence. You can't bring people in when there's not enough evidence. And that's what you're consistently doing in my situation, right or wrong. Yes or no? You're consistently bringing people in and you don't even have no information. You don't have enough information. No, you don't. No, you don't, bro. You don't have enough evidence and information to be bringing nobody else in. If anything, this should be dying down. This should be dying way down. Being that you're marrying children in America. This should be dying way down by now. And see, that's the problems we have. You are formed as a result of people not having enough evidence. The Americans use these secret societies, these telepaths and psychics, when they don't have enough evidence. So, that's what we are, man. That's what we are. You know, that's what we are. No, this ain't no child's play. It really is not. Okay. We don't get tested for free. Especially if I'm minding my business. If I'm minding my business, and you playing with me, basically, man, this is why all this stuff gotta happen. You can't play games with me and think that, oh well, you know, we just needed to find out you. Who are you to have to find out something? That's what we tripping off of. What we tripping off of is you're somebody we don't even know, but you feel like you need to figure something out besides a charge in America. You're still in America. I know you feel like you're in you're on the yellow brick road. You're on the yellow brick road, ain't you? You're on the yellow brick road. You on the yellow brick road, ain't you? You far from Kansas, ain't you? You what's her name? I forgot the little girl name. Debbie. We're gonna just say Debbie. Even though I know her name was Cindy or something like that. Y'all remember that little girl? We'll say Debbie just to be funny. You're a long way from home, Debbie. You on the yellow brick road, ain't you? Get on down the road. Remember the Wiz? Get on down the road. You down the yellow brick road, playing with a prophet. We over here in the real world watching Greenland almost be overtaken by Trump. This might be the catalyst for World War III right here. This might be it. This might be what provokes World War III is this situation with Greenland. This might be what do it. Cause I mean, you know, World wars always start in the East, Europe. Over there in Europe and all over there. And Trump is barking up Europe's tree, buddy. Okay? Nobody's feeling this. Nobody's feeling it. But remember what I told you. Trump is cursed. He's cursed to make bad decisions. Trump is going to make bad decisions. Trump is cursed to make bad decisions. So you gotta let him make it because he cursed. That's a part of the curse. He's like, he's cursing, just doing stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Oh, look what Trump is doing. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this. Oh, yeah. See, that's his curse. His curse is he just driving himself crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. What is wrong with him? He's cursed. I do that. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. We're gonna blow up boats down here and do South America, bring the president from South America, we're gonna go over there to Greenland. I've been fasting against Trump for 6 years. So, yeah, you do the math on that, buddy. I've been fasting against Trump for over 6 years. This year will be 7 years. We ain't playing no games. And what I see is that he's cursed to make bad decisions. That's part of the curse that's on him. As a result of fasting against him for years and years and years. See how long we've been in this war? See, if you would have just listened, you would have seen I was playing a legitimate position. But now, see, you couldn't respect that position until all this stuff started happening. Now you see all this stuff happening with Trump and everything he doing. Now you want to respect this position. You ain't got no choice but to respect this position. Now you wish, oh, we wish we wouldn't have messed with that. We wish we wouldn't have, nah, we should have left that alone. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we ain't trying to hear that other stuff. We looking at that part. This the part, we looking at the part that he fasting against Trump. That he doing a spiritual fast against Trump. No, we looking at that. And how he already effective. And then now he talking about Trump is cursed to make bad decisions. And that all adds up. Yeah, it adds up to us. It adds up to us. Look at all these bad decisions he making. He's cursed. He's cursed to make bad decisions. That's what's happening. He cursed to make bad decisions. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? You know, so it's just got, you just gotta understand, man, that these things gotta happen. You know what I'm saying? These things gotta happen. You know, but for people that's playing with me, this is what you need to know. All you're doing is add fuel to the fire. That's all you're doing. While Trump is cursed, and he's cursed to make bad decisions, you're gonna see him like a madman just make worse bad decisions. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Listen, I don't say stuff and just be lying. When it comes out, I can feel it. It's right. Listen, this is right. This is right. Okay? And I'm not saying this is prophecy per se, right? It's good assumption, a good observation. You know, Trump is cursed to make bad decisions. Real bad. See, you got to look at this pattern. Trump wanted Canada. This is why I want to show you. Didn't Trump just want Canada just a little while ago? So you don't see the pattern. That's what I thought about this morning. Hey, wait a minute. Didn't he want Canada just not too long ago? He did, didn't he? He wanted Canada not too long ago. He wanted Canada not too long ago, didn't he? So he just wanted Canada not too long ago. What was the reason he wanted Canada? And he's talking about making it a part of America. See, if you see the pattern. If you look at the first thing with Canada, all that is Trump wanting to make Greenland a part of America. How we know? Look at Canada. Why he wanted Canada? So he wanted Canada for one reason, but he wanted Greenland for another reason. That's an excuse. All that stuff he talking about with Russia and China, that's an excuse. That's an excuse when he talking about with China and Russia and all of that. That's an excuse. That is an excuse. How we know? Let's look at Canada. Why did he want Canada? He talking about all of Canada. He want these northern regions. to get the upper hand maybe on the Russians. He wanted Canada maybe for Russia. So they can easily, he say for security reasons, but it's on the offense on security reasons. That's 7 out. He say for security reasons, but it's on the offense. It's not protected. It's not on the defense. It's so that if anything pop off with Russia or China, you could just launch missiles from Greenland. Come on, man. Come on. Think about it. If you got smoke with anybody in the East, from Greenland, it's going to be a better shot. And it's going to be out the way. You think he's willing to pay them people money just for what? Just to make sure Russia and China don't get Greenland? Well, why don't he just put it under surveillance like they do everybody else? Why don't you just have patrols of surveillance and send people into Greenland? But now you see what I'm saying? Wouldn't that make more sense when you don't really know nothing? He say Russia and China gonna get Greenland because it's a spot to either go hit the east or to hit the west. That's what he's looking at. Think about what I'm saying. From Greenland, you get the fight, and you get the fight outside the way of America. That's what they want it for. So we can just use that as a military grounds to attack the east. That's what it's for. He want to be able to launch missiles out the way. Just a straight military ground where we could just throw missiles at the east and throw anti-missile defenses and all of that at anything that they try to do. But he telling you, oh, China's working on getting it, and Russia or China's going to get it. Trump has his own plans, and China is not even provoking it. Russia is not even provoking these plans. This is his own plans, and they ain't got nothing to do with it. That's how you need to hear it. He got his own plans, and Russia ain't, and China ain't even got nothing to do with it. That's what it is. Of course, he gonna use excuses. The truth is, he wants Greenland for a military ground. That's what it is. So if anything pop off with the east, he could just launch missiles from there. He could stop. And they also could stop other missiles and intercept missiles coming from the east. Now you see what it is. Now you see what it's all about. That's what it's all about. That's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. So with that being said, you have to realize, okay, it's not about, with the pattern of Trump and them, it's not about, okay, this is really what it is. No, it's not. He gonna tell you something, it's another reason. He not giving you the full reason. He not giving you the real reasons why some things are happening. Okay? That's what you gotta realize. He's not giving you the real reasons. So you have to make the decision. You have to make the decision. Okay, I'm not going to sit back and be bamboozled by a Trump administration talking about we doing this, we doing that, and then it's for other reasons. And I'm going to sit back. I'm going to think about things before I form my opinion, before I think about what they're doing. Before I assume to know what they're doing, I'm going to sit back and think about it. Because, I mean, it's easy to think. I mean, You could have thought about the same thing if you said and thought about it long enough. Okay, look at it for what it is. Greenland is right there near. It's more closer to Russia and all of that. And so it's easy for them to attack. And I'm on Russia's side. You know, yeah, I'm on Russia's side, man. I've been on Russia's side for about 6 years. Going on 7 years. That's right. Because Russia ain't never hate no black people. No, they didn't. You ain't think about that. Russia ain't never hated no black people. When? You ain't never seen nothing significant in their country. And Africans are there, just in case you think it's this whole European community. And Africans are there. And that's no disrespect saying that. There are Africans in Russia. Let that sink in. Let that sink in, buddy. There are Africans in Russia. See, you simple-minded. Look how simple-minded you are. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. There are Africans in Russia. Go look it up. I seen this video of these young dudes, like in their 30s. You know what I'm saying? Over there, showing this other guy around, another dude from America, showing him around Russia. You know what I'm saying? Let them know how black people are in Russia. Everything. A black woman. I seen a black woman over there, and she was kind of famous. You know what I'm saying? But they complained about a little bit of stuff here and there. The people let you know that you black. But that's not the government. When I'm looking, because you can't stop human nature. You see the difference? You can't stop human nature, ignorance of human nature. Because if I'm just a little bit different from you, even if I'm black, you can see black people that differentiate themselves from other black people. Like light-skinned girls differentiate themselves from dark-skinned girls, and vice versa. Dark-skinned girls differentiate. Okay, so Europeans gonna differentiate some of them, and ignorance gonna differentiate themselves. I mean, we do it ourselves. Light-skinned girls differentiate themselves from dark-skinned girls and vice versa. Okay, so how you think Europeans ain't gonna do it? All over the world. All over the world, you think, oh well, you know, I shouldn't expect no racism. It shouldn't be none, but we got some among ourselves. Light skin versus dark skin versus light skin, that's racism. Oh, you didn't see it that way? I did. I do. I do see it that way. I can show you racism among black people where they hate on each other because they light skin and dark skin. Something that white people didn't even know nothing about. I was living with this one white dude, and I told him about that. He was like, I did not know light skin and dark skin was against each. They had wars among each other. Like, he didn't know. You know. Light skin and dark skin in black people's own family, their own family be against each other. They got hang-ups in their own family where dark-skinned sisters are jealous of light-skinned sisters. Go ask these old school women how much jealousy they had to deal with from their own dark-skinned sisters. Dark-skinned women jealous of light-skinned women. You got people in your family talking about it. And if your mama light-skinned, I guarantee you she done told you about some dark-skinned women in her family jealous of her. If your mama light-skinned, I guarantee you, if you've been listening, she done told you some stories about her jealous sisters and cousins. Now you know I'm black. Oh, a white boy wouldn't know that. That's what I just told you. A white boy wouldn't know about that, would he? When light-skinned women get hated on all through high school. Don't let her got long, pretty hair and a shape and she light-skinned. They gonna have a stank face. Think she cute. She ain't even said nothing. She come in the room, that's what somebody else gonna say. She ain't even said nothing. You hating already. You hating already because you just assume that she's stuck up and bougie. But let me help you understand something about light-skinned women. You know why some of them bougie? Because they've been hated on so much. That's why they separate from black people. Cause think about it. If you keep getting hated on, what you gonna do? You gonna retreat. You ain't gonna keep doing the same thing. You know these dark-skinned girls hating on you because they bald-headed and they ain't got no hair. And you know, and they don't like their own features. It's their own, nobody make them feel that way. They don't like their nose. They don't like their broad nose. You don't like your big forehead. And you don't like your bald head. And you know, and you got these hang up. You see this light-skinned girl. She got a nice nose. She got nice lips and nice forehead. She ain't got 5 foreheads. You got 5 foreheads, don't you? You got 5 foreheads. Well, she'll be cute if she ain't have 5 foreheads. And if you got a big forehead, ain't nothing you can do about it. You can't get no hair. You can't put no hair on that forehead. Well, I want my hairline to start right here. It should start right about here. That means you got to cover all this part up. And you mad at her because she got a nice little forehead. She got a feminine hairline. You know how the women got them real feminine hairlines? You can tell. See all these trannies out here, let me tell you something. You can't fake a hairline, can you? Ooh. A feminine hairline, you can't get that. Your hairline gonna be way back here like a man. All you gotta do is look at these dudes' foreheads. You can tell they ain't no woman. Cause a woman got a girl hairline. You know what a girl hairline look? It come down real close to their head, everything all around the edges. It's a feminine. It's a certain kind of feminine hairline that some a man can't have. It wouldn't even make sense. You know the hairlines I'm talking about. Stop playing. For men that study women, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? For men that admire women's beauty, you know a woman's hairline, don't you? A man can't have that. Some of these girls, some of these light-skinned girls, black girls too, dark-skinned girls, but some of these light-skinned girls got the nice feminine hairline. You hating on her, ain't you? She ain't got no big forehead. She like her nose is different from yours, and ain't nothing wrong with having a nice nose, a broad nose, or a broad forehead. Ain't nothing wrong with either one. But you got your own insecurities. You know what I'm saying? So if you talk to some of these light-skinned women, they're gonna tell you, yeah, I experience jealousy for no reason. So it's racism everywhere. That's my point. It's racism among even black people. And so Russia ain't perfect. You know, and neither are we. When you got dark-skinned women jealous and racist against light-skinned girls, that's racism. Well, if you look at her and you don't like her because of how she look, that's racism. You don't get it, do you? I can show you how you're racist against your own people. But we'll save that for another day. In Russia, the government does not hate black people. I can show you how American government hated black people. This is real stuff. You know that, right? It's real. Black people was hated. Black people was hated by the government, the police, military, everything. Russia never hated black people. They never hated Africans. So why wouldn't I choose Russia to be on my side when things don't go right with America? That's exactly what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going with Russia. So when this stuff pop off, listen, hey, I'm going with Russia, man. I'm sorry to tell you. So you got to remember, America was never no hero country to the black man. They was a hero on their own. Make that make sense. But you was never no hero towards black people. When? Not even now. Nah, not really. You still say questionable stuff. You still do questionable things. So you got to understand that America has two experiences. Well, multiple experiences. The white experience and the black experience. And even if you're a Christian, you still are going to taste the black experience as a black person. You can be a Christian and still experience racism. Because first thing they're going to see is that you're a black person. They ain't going to even know if you're a Christian. Even if you got a cross on, they going to ignore that. Because everybody wear crosses. They ain't going to think, oh, he wears a cross, he must be a Christian. Do you realize so many people wear crosses in America and a shirt with Jesus on it that they ain't going to say, oh, well, he must be a Christian. Look at that cross he got on. You got to have a cross with nothing but diamonds, a whole bunch of diamonds in it. Then somebody said, well, he must be a Christian. Look at that cross. All them diamonds in it. He ain't going to buy that if he ain't no Christian. You got a big old cross with diamonds all in it. People gonna say, "Oh, he a Christian. He must." Well, they'll think, "Well, you must think about God or something like that, right? Something like that." Well, he might think about God. So if a police see you with a cross on, that don't mean he gonna think you a Christian. He gonna think you a black man. So you still are subject to, I'm not saying you gotta live subject to it, you know what I mean? You are still gonna be seen as a black man. Look at Sonia Massey. She was handing the police a Bible, told the police, get my Bible, when he was in the house. He actually handed her a Bible. And she got killed later. Now, how would you think about that? How would you think about that? When they came in Sonia Massey's house, she sat down on the couch trying to get her ID or whatever. They handed her, she said, hand me the Bible. Hand me that Bible over there. From then, you should, most people go humble themselves a little bit. And then she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That was her last words. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Some would say she must have felt she was going to be put to death. Well, ain't it funny? You think she felt some little other energy and she was scared. And she just started rebuking them in the name of Jesus because she was scared. Well, think about this. She was asking them to get the Bible, like to say, I'm a Christian, don't do nothing to me. Oh, you ain't look at it that way, did you? I'm a Christian, don't do nothing to me, hand me the Bible. That's how you know I'm a Christian. My point is this, man. My point is this. Soon as you think it's all good, you see, this is always something that happens. And we know that, don't. So, this country ain't never been no hero for us when. If something always going on questionable throughout the years, when can you say it's been for us? When? I want you to show me the time when it's supposed to be. Because see, where it gets tricky is you can't pay attention to all this stuff going on. All this culture stuff going on where it seems like we all together, because you as an individual can never be safe in America. You listen, you can't never look at that stuff out there and say, oh, well, it's all good now. It's never all good for you as an individual. All it takes is one person to do something to you and it's over with. So you as a black person have to live as an individual, not as a collective community looking at the stuff that you see on TV. You gotta live as an individual, that anything can happen to you as an individual. Which means you can't never let your guard down, because something can happen to you as an individual. That always can be the case. Now for white America, that's barely can be the case. I mean, you got this stuff with Renee Good and all of that stuff going on, but she kind of put herself in that situation. I mean, keep it 100. Because us as black people, like I said, man, once we see it escalate, we gonna sit down. Once it's escalated where the police is against us or trying to pursue us, we know they're gonna give chase, so why even try to run? Unless you got a death wish. I mean, you trying to go out. You trying to die. You trying to crash out. But if you trying to live, man, how you gonna see us escalating and try to leave and drive off? See, that's the difference between white people and black people. I'm not trying to drive off if it's already escalated, because I know it ain't no need to. Because you gonna still give chase. You gonna give a description of the car. Why why do that? You already caught. It ain't no need to do that. See, that's why with them people over there, the only way you'll survive, they expect you to know that. Some of them don't know you don't know that. That's why we understand each other. Them kind of people like that, officials and us and authorities, we understand each other. I would have never been in that position. Because as soon as you would have grabbed my door, I would have shut it down. Oh, okay, what you want, man? What you want? You grabbing my door, you already giving chase right there. That's the beginning of the chase. If you grabbing my door, that's the beginning. That's the difference between white people and black people. Okay? We understand things. We've been through this stuff. As soon as you grab my door, that's escalation. It's escalated. I can't drive off after you try to grab my door. He expect you to know that. That's what I'm saying. He expected you to know it's shut down. That's his way of saying it's shut down. Because if you try to leave after that, what you think he gonna do? He gonna give chase. That's what he's gonna do. He went. Even if she got away, let's say if she drove away, you think he gonna say, well, we didn't get him. They gone now. That's okay. Well, what we got back going on over here? What's going back on over here? She just left. Let's let her go. You think they would have let her go? No. They would have put out a description of that car and she would have got pulled over by the police. That's what would have happened. Even if they didn't give chase, they would have radioed it in, that the description of that car, and she wouldn't have got no more than a couple miles out from that point. No, she wouldn't have got nothing but a couple miles. And knowing them, they probably would have stopped somewhere else and then went somewhere. They would have got arrested somewhere else. That's what would have happened. Common sense tells you if they grab the door, it's escalation. Keyword, escalation, right? You can't leave after that. until even though you don't like it, you gotta clear it. You gotta be cleared now. That's just how it is in America. It's just how it is. Once that person grabs the door, it's escalation. That's called escalation. If he would have just said something to you, you might could have drove off. If he would have just been saying, hey, and you could have drove off, right? Especially being that it's ICE, you probably could have got away. But once he grabs the door, it's over. It's escalation. Once he grabs the door, he's gonna if you get away, he's gonna radio it in to the police, and they still gonna pull you over. Simple as that. So why not do it now? I mean, why wait? Why wait? And then get calmed down and then get pulled over later on in the afternoon. Why do that? That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying, man. Like, so that's why, man, you gotta be out here in the jungle, man. You gotta be alert. You gotta be alert. See, I done dealt with police. You gotta be alert. I done had weapons on me and the police came to me and pulled weapons off me. You gotta be alert. You can't make no stupid moves. You know what I'm saying? If I would have went for that weapon, I would have been shot. But he pulled the taser on me, right? I had the police pull a taser. You ever had a police pull a taser on you? Pull a taser on me and I got weapons on me, right? He said, don't move. Keep your hands where it's at. And they pulled the weapon off of me, everything, arrested me. That was it. There was no hard feelings. He didn't rough me up. I said what I said. I felt like they were kind of funny what they searched. When they searched me, I thought, yeah, I think so. You keep searching me in the same place, I mean, it's suspect. Anyway, that shows who's in their right mind. You know what I'm saying? You know, listen, you can't say a person's crazy, bipolar, a weirdo, and they done dealt with the police and complied properly with the police. Because, see, that's what a crazy person ain't going to do. A crazy person is not going to hear that and see and look closely what's going on. I'm saying, I know how to comply with them police, man. You know what I'm saying? As soon as I see them, and I never had a taser pulled on me, right? So I'm looking at something yellow pointed at me. I didn't realize that's what it was. He already had a taser pulled, aiming it at me, like, don't move. Put your hands up, something like that, and came around me, got the weapon out. That was it. Nothing happened. I left in an hour's time. I left the precinct in an hour's time, took my groceries home, had groceries. I had my groceries at the precinct. Talking about ghetto, I had my groceries at the jail precinct. They got me when I got back grocery shopping. I just had went grocery shopping early in the morning too, like 9, 10-ish. You know what I mean? I got my groceries and everything. I'm worried about my groceries. You ever took your groceries to the precinct? I had my groceries in the precinct. No, you don't hear me, do you? Bro, I say I had my groceries at the precinct. I went and got arrested and they had my groceries in the cop car, bro. All my groceries. Not a little bag, I had all my stuff. All my groceries at the precinct. I'm just telling you the truth. You can't be crazy and bipolar, because see, them people like that, they get smoked. If they got a weapon on them, they try to pull it out, and the police get killed. You can't pull a knife on the police or nothing. You can't pull nothing on the police. So I done had the police armed around me, and if I would have pulled out my weapon, I would have been tased or worse. You gotta learn how to comply, even if when you're doing wrong and when you ain't doing no wrong. When you illegal, you know you got some weapons on you. You know you already know what time it is. You know you slipping. You already know what it's about. Most of you already know what it's about. You can sense it. You already know what it's about. Okay, comply and get it over with. You know what I'm saying? I go to the precinct, come out there, I got my groceries, everything. It could have went a whole different way. That day could have been if I was crazy, it could have went a whole different way. If I would have pulled that knife out, he might have would have somebody might would have shot me with the taser, or somebody else could have shot me with a gun. It was more than one officer. They could switch up too. They could have taser, then go for the gun. So I'm not talking to you like I ain't never been through no altercations, some real things with the police. Some people ain't never had no taser pulled on them. So think about it now. Think about it. Some police have never pulled a taser on you at all. It never happened. Aiming it right at you. He was aiming it right at me. Coming towards me like, yo, don't hold your hands up, don't do, just me. And that day, no, it was so early, it wasn't nobody else in the bodega, nothing. It was just me. I was the only customer in there. That was the crazy thing about it. It wasn't nobody else in the bodega. It was just me. And then, the whole time I got arrested, it was nobody coming up the block or nothing. Nobody coming in the store or nothing. That was the crazy part. But anyway, man, you gotta use discretion. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know how to deal with these police. You gotta know how to play chess. If you can't win at the time, don't try to win at the time. Some people gotta feel like they gotta win right there. You can't win right there. You know what I mean? You can't win. They got you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta comply. That's all you can do. That's why I don't get see, with people like me, I don't have no problem with the police. People out here getting smoked, and then you find out they had a fake gun, waving it at the police. You die like a sucker. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. You die like a sucker. You pulled a fake gun on the police, bro. How fake can you be? How fake can you be? You died like a sucker pulling a fake gun on the police. Man, that's fake. That's like that's worse than a kid. A kid wouldn't even do that. Who gonna pull a fake gun out like it's gonna do something? Who gonna do that? That's dying as fake and pathetic as you possibly can die, man. You died as pathetic as you possibly can die. And you know you're going to hell. You know you went to hell. He ain't go to heaven. He died pathetic, pulling out a fake gun on the police. That's pathetic. That's what word to use. Even trying them with a knife, that's pathetic. They got a gun. Now, I mean, I'm not telling you to do anything, but I mean, if you've seen a loophole where you could have done something with a knife, that's different. But if you playing yourself, if you pull out a knife towards the police, you playing yourself. You ain't gonna get nowhere. You're not going nowhere, buddy. You're not gonna get anything done. You're gonna die like a chump. You're gonna hit the ground like a bag of potatoes. Like a sack of potatoes. You're gonna hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. I don't go out like no chump. You know what I'm saying? If I can't get away, it's what it is. And you can't crash out if you catch a body. You catch a body, you go to the nearest bodega and surrender. That's what I do. If I caught a body in here, in this building where I'm at, I'm gonna go right down the street to that bodega and turn myself in. I ain't crashing out and then just die. No. I ain't crashing out. If I catch a body, I'm gonna go. I already planned it. I'm gonna go right down there at the bodega. I'm gonna run down there to that bodega, get away from the scene, so police won't be alarmed by me or nothing like that. I'm gonna go right down to the bodega and tell them, yo, I call the body. I want you to call the police. I call the body. That's how serious I am about mine, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious about mine. Just in case you think it's a game. I catch me a body, go right down there to the bodega. I already planned it. I go down there right to that bodega and tell yo, yeah, yo, I call the body. He already gonna know the language. Yo, I call the body. You call the police. I'm surrendering. I call the body. Yo, I call the body. Call 911. You know what I'm saying? I call the body. Call 911. I'm surrendering right here. You know what I'm saying? I'll let them come in here, put my hands up, get arrested. That's it. Gotta know when to fold, buddy. Gotta know when to fold. Now, I hope that don't happen. But it's a war. You know what I'm saying? It's a war, bro. I catch me body, go right down to that bodega. I'm not playing. Or the nearest one. And not when late at nighttime, it's a couple bodegas that be open. I go to the nearest store. I go to the nearest place. I might go to that little motel. That's before you even get to the bodegas down here on Utica. They got a motel. I say, yo, I call me a body. I go into that little hotel right up the street. That's the nearest one. I go right there. Yo, I call me a body. I need y'all to call the police. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm surrendering. It is what it is. You got any weapons on you? No, I ain't got no weapons on me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no weapons on me. I'm surrendering. You know what I'm saying? Call me a body. Call the police. Instead of crashing out, once you kill somebody, then you on a crash collision, and you fighting with the police. Now you pull a weapon on the police. Or not. Nah, I ain't crashing out. Catch a body, go somewhere and surrender. That's what you gotta do. You catch a body, remove yourself from the location. Remove yourself from the location and go to the nearest place and surrender. I'm serious. That's why you don't doubt nobody like that. I got my ducks in a row. You the type of person catch a body and crash out. You don't know what to do next. I know exactly what I do. I go right down the street, right here at this bodega. Yo, call the body, call the police. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how you gotta be. That's how you gotta be, man. It's not, you know, and how you know, like I said, how you know I'm not mentally sick. How you know I'm not mentally sick? Because I done interacted with these police and had weapons on me, and they had the taser drawn on me, and two other cops, like 2 or 3 cops. You know, that could have been, if I was mental, that would have been a whole bad situation. That's how you know. You know? So, you know, man, we don't get tested by the streets as a prophet. As a prophet, I shouldn't be tested by the streets. And that's the mistake that the streets made in the community. Listen, man, even though you heard what you heard, I expect you to be like, you know, thoroughbred head honchos. I know everybody can't be a head honcho, but I expect head honchos to kind of control the mic, orchestrate and be the maestros of the situation. Where, okay, we ain't letting this go but so far, cause you know, this, first of all, we ain't got no evidence and stuff on this person, right? We not letting this go but so far. Now, we ain't letting this go far. We ain't gonna be tempted by them little peanuts, you know what I'm saying? Whatever they handing out, we ain't gonna be tempted by that. Cause we don't want this kind of problem in our community. We don't want to see, back in the day, they were more protective over their community. And, you know, people invite this kind of stuff now. That's how you know people don't protect the community no more. They invite this kind of stuff, and then when a problem happens, we shouldn't have done that. We should have chilled. We shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? So you gotta realize. Man, some people ain't playing. Some people study war. I study war. I study plans to go through war, And some people, they ain't never thought about it. They don't got no exit plans, no nothing like that. But they turned up. You turned up but ain't got no plans. You ain't got no exit plans. And don't be unarmed and talking about you turned up. Really, bruh? You unarmed and turned up. Sounds like a disaster to me. Because I could at least say, listen, I can give a fighting chance, and within reason, if I need to protect myself, it ain't gonna be easy. I ain't gonna just lay down and die. People out here turned up with no weapons. Imagine that. Imagine me like that. In 2026, it's not happening, bro. Like I said, people that don't know me, I used to walk around New York I used to have a machete. I probably would have got the name Machete Marcello. How it's close to Marcello, Machete Marcello. Yeah, that's Machete Marcello right there. You ain't never heard of Machete Marcello? He walk around New York with a machete on him. I walked blocks and blocks, and the police could have easily pulled me. I know how to walk. I know how to move. I was walking around New York with a machete on me, man. Down in my pants, baggy pants with the machete at the waistband. A machete. And you hit somebody with a machete one time, I change your whole life. All I gotta do is hit you one time and you ain't gonna want no more of that. Oh, you gonna say, please, please. You could be, listen, you could be all thug. You could be thug life. You could be thug life. Yo, you could be thug life, bro. If I hit you with that machete one time, you gonna say, please. I guarantee that's the first word gonna come out of your mouth. Please, yo, I don't want no more. Yo, chill. Yo, I'm cool. You gonna say something like that? Yeah, I'm cool. I'm chill. I hit you one time with that machete and it changed your whole life. I'll tell you that, buddy. I already priced 2 machetes over here. The only reason I didn't get them because I was doing other stuff. I could have been had, if I felt like people was a threat, I already know in this neighborhood where I can get machetes right now. Machetes, not blades. I already went and priced it before I even knew anybody in the building. As soon as I got here, the next day I went and priced it. The second day, within 24 hours, I had already priced the machete within 24 hours of being here. And I know how to wield the machete. Some people don't know how to do it. You got to learn your form and your own form with it. I already got my own form with a machete. That's not a game, man. It's not a game. It's not a game. I already bought a machete. You can go look at the videos. I got the videos still up on YouTube. I got the videos on YouTube where I got the machete. It's all on the YouTube. It's all on YouTube. They don't take my videos down. I got my videos up on YouTube where I'm showing with the machetes and everything. You doubt somebody that walked around New York with a machete? Because even a gunsmith, a marksman will respect a nice piece of steel like a machete. Oh yeah. Let me hold that. Let me hold it. A dude carry guns gonna like that machete. Let me hold it a little bit, man. Let me borrow this, man. I'm gonna walk around with this machete, man. You know how dudes are in the hood. Let me hold that machete, man. He got 2 guns on him. Let me hold that machete, man. Oh, I like that, man. Let me hold this. Yeah, let me knock down this tree right quick. Let me knock some of these limbs down. Y'all need to cut y'all hedges anyway. Hey, you know them type of characters. Y'all need to cut y'all hedges anyway, man. Let me cut these hedges up a little bit. Let me swing this and knock down. I'm knocking down. I ain't doing no crime. I'm just holding these. I'm just cleaning up the hedges, man. I'm cleaning up the hedges. I'm telling you, man. Listen. Everybody respect the machete. Machete is a whole different level. It's a nice weapon for any man, any gun man or anything. They gonna respect that machete, buddy. Cause even if you got a gun, if you don't know what you're doing, and I pull that machete out quicker than you pull out your gun, it's over with. It's over with. You can't do nothing. If I draw first and you're scrambling and I hit you with that machete, it's over with. That's how powerful it is. I hit you one time, you trying to go for a gun. Oh, yo, chill. I hit you 2 times, it's over. You give up. You gonna give up. You can't fight no machete, buddy. You can't grab it. The heroes that try to grab it, man, listen. If you try to grab a machete or try to block it, it's not gonna work. You're gonna be hurt. You even try to block like this, it's gonna be a chunk. It could be a chunk of gash in your hand. All in your hand. You're gonna be, it's gonna be bleeding everywhere. Skeeting out. I hit you again, it's over. You gonna surrender, please. I guarantee you that's what you're gonna say. You ain't gonna be no tough guy. You ain't gonna be no tough guy at all. A big dude, all you gotta do is hit him in his stomach. Boom. Ooh. Oh man, he bleeding out his stomach. That's for them big bouncer type dudes. They think they unstoppable, man. Listen, I hit you with that machete in your leg or your stomach or even like your lower belly where your bladder at. I hit you right there hard as I can. That's gonna go through the cloth, your shirt. That's gonna go through that. It's gonna gash you through that. You gonna say, a big man, I ain't trying to hit his head. I'm gonna tear his stomach up. If I got a blade, I'm gonna hit his stomach so many times, he gonna bleed out. I ain't gonna try to cut his throat. If somebody like 6'5", a big bouncer, you think I'm gonna reach up to his head? No. I'm gonna hit that stomach. I'm gonna hit that stomach so good, he go, Yeah, you know, I'm serious. You get his stomach. His stomach is right there. His stomach gonna always be right there. You don't try to hit no tall dude. I figured this all out. I took time to think about it. You don't hit no tall dude in his neck, try to cut his head and try to cut his neck and chest. Nah, I ain't reaching up there. I'm gonna hit all in his stomach. He gonna bleed out. I hit you in your stomach good enough, hit your organs and some intestines, all of that, you're gonna be done. You're gonna be done, buddy. See, I thought about my strategy. Oh yeah, you're supposed to. That ain't fake. No, I know exactly what I'll do to a big dude. You see, I know. Listen, I'm gonna size him up. Me and him got a problem. He got the reach and everything. He got long arms. He got reach over me. I'm gonna hit that stomach. That's all I'm trying to go for. I'm gonna be quicker than him, and all I'm trying to do is hit that stomach. Hit the sides, break them down, hit the stomach. I ain't gonna try to rush, take my time, hit that stomach, it's over with. I'm dead serious. That's how you know I'm not playing. I already thought about this stuff. Some dudes are trying to, how I'm gonna hit his head, stomach, neck and stuff. I ain't trying to hit none of that. I'm gonna hit that stomach. That stomach gonna usually be sticking out a little bit too. It's gonna be sticking out a little bit. It usually ain't gonna be flat. It's gonna be sticking out a little bit. Hit that stomach. Can hit it from the side and everything, boy. He ain't gonna want none. That machete, I hit him with that machete anyway. If I get one swing, even if a big dude, if he try to grab the machete, I'm gonna mess his hands up. He got the same kind of hands. he try to grab that machete and try to be a hero, he gonna run. I'm telling you, he gonna run. And see, I was working on getting 2 machetes. I'm gonna have 2 in each hand. If I come at you with 2 machetes in each hand, I don't care who you are, buddy. You gonna run like it's a gun. You gonna run like it's a gun. If I got 2 machetes, if I swing one at you and you grab it, the other one's coming right over top. You go, big dude, I'm just swinging everywhere. I hit him, he gonna say, stop, stop, stop. I'm gonna break him down. I'm dead serious. I hit his leg, it's over. Listen, if I hit your leg with a machete, I hit your leg with a machete, but it's gonna change you, it's gonna change your life too. Yes, sir. A big gash on your leg. Now you feel like you can't walk. I hit you again, it's over. I go for both legs, you done. I hit both legs. You can't do nothing. You at my mercy. That's what I'm saying. You listen, I ain't intimidated by nobody. And see, a machete just makes you more of a gruesome fighter too. Cause the things you think, things you're gonna think about with this, what you're doing with this machete. You're gonna think about things that's what your weapon gonna do, right? That's common sense. Man, if I hit you with this hit you with a machete one time, it's gonna change your whole life. That's what I'm saying. I'm not built for children. I'm a grown soldier, buddy. You can't bring no children around me, man. Oh, no stupidity, man, playing games. Listen, no, you can't. I hit you with a machete one time. Listen, one time. It could be a dull machete because it's such a big a piece of hard steel. If I hit you with that one time, I guarantee with might, even if it's dull, it's gonna change your life. I'm telling you. It don't even gotta be sharp. I hit you with that one time, it's gonna change your life, buddy. And I had one. I had a machete. I ain't talking about something I ain't have. Right here in New York. I bought it right here in New York. And I'm thinking to myself, why black people why nobody ain't never get no machetes? It's right here. Cause they ain't thinking about it, bro. A lot of people ain't about that life, man. Man, well, if you really was, then why you ain't get one? You ain't here in New York, why you ain't got no machete? I guarantee you ain't nobody gonna try you with that machete. A knife, maybe. A machete, no sir. They see that big blade, bro. Listen, you ain't gonna want no smoke, bro. If you know what's good for you. If you know what world you live in. If you living in the real world. Somebody hit you with that just barely, haphazard. It's over with. You gonna feel that, bro. Skin, tender skin against that machete. You don't know what it'll do you? Somebody hit you with that one time, and don't let it be across the neck or the face or something like that. It's over, bro. I'm telling you, they hit you in your head and face one time, even if it's dull in your face, you just gonna be like, oh man, yeah. You're gonna have a whole different tune, buddy. You're gonna be singing Dixie, whistling Dixie. You're gonna be whistling Yankee Doodle. You're gonna be whistling Yankee Doodle, buddy. You're gonna be whistling the whole. I'm dead serious. See, once a man get on this level and he start having fun with it, boy, that's a dangerous individual. I know I'm dangerous. I don't have no problem with it. I don't have no problem with being a dangerous person. It don't mean I gotta be crazy. But when you can tell, when the man start making jokes about it, it's not a game. A lane gonna try to be serious. He gonna try to be tough. He gonna try to tell you how tough he is. I'm making jokes about it. Oh yeah, that part. That's how you know who real. A poser is gonna be trying to be tough. Yeah, you know, I got this machete. He trying to be serious, ain't he? That's how you know that's a joke. The one that you should be scared of, the one making jokes about what he can do to you with it. That's the one to fear. I ain't saying be scared of it, but that's the one to take precaution. He making jokes about this stuff. It's not a game, bro. Oh, I got a great sense of humor, but I don't play no games. I don't play no games, even with females. I can't even be with the wrong female that be challenged. Them females be challenging dudes these days and all that. I can't be with no female like that, man. I can't. Nah, you can't challenge me. Am I abusive? No, I don't think I'm abusive, but I'm a human being. I think I'm a human being, and a man and a woman can challenge each other as human beings. You see what I'm saying? It ain't got nothing to do with gender. Two human beings in close quarters can challenge each other. And neither one can talk about the domestic violence. That ain't no domestic violence. It's two human beings challenging each other in close quarters. That's what happens a lot of times. That ain't no domestic violence. If she challenged you first and put her hands on you first, how is you in the narrative of domestic violence? How is that the narrative of domestic violence? And she put her hands on you first, and she was doing that to you first. You're not an abusive person, because if you was, you would have beat the crap out of her when she put her hands on you. That's the police gonna say, well, he ain't abusive. You put your hands on him, he ain't do nothing the other times. Oh, well, nah, that's not an abusive person. Abusive person, as soon as you put their hands on, they would have halfway smiled as soon as you did it, knowing they finna beat the crap out of you. Yeah, you don't know what domestic violence is. Domestic violence is when you can't even be opinionated without a man slapping you in your face. That's domestic violence. Good men sit up and let you talk all kind of junk to them. Good men will let you talk all kind of junk to them. A domestic violence, an abuser will not let you can't even say nothing to him. You can't even say nothing out the way. We sit up and let women talk say all kind of crazy stuff to us. That's how you know you ain't. If they made you feel like you was an abusive person, think about all the stuff you let women say to you. In your face, what I'm talking about. You ain't gonna never let a man get away with half of the stuff they done. Half of it. You let women sit up and say all kind of stuff in your face. That's how you're supposed to be built as a man. Women gonna say all kind of crazy stuff. If they ain't Christian, they gonna say all kind of crazy stuff. And if you ain't got no backbone, listen, you can't be with no woman. You can't, cause if she ain't a Christian, she might challenge you. She might say all kind of stuff, get in your face and say all kind of stuff to you. And if you don't love that woman, and you an abusive person, you gonna find out right then. When you get with a woman, a real woman, a woman, period, you gonna see if you a bit abusive or not. She might say all kind of stuff to you. And if you ain't got no self-control, you gonna be in jail, buddy. Or she gonna kill you on the low. She gonna be done killed you. You can't. You'll be one of them dead men that thought they woman couldn't do nothing to them and killed them. These women will kill you in your sleep. You wake up in hell. How did I get here? Well, she killed you. That woman you was with killed you. That's what you're gonna hear in hell. Some demon gonna say, that woman you was with killed you. Yeah, that woman you was with killed you. A demon gonna say it quick. Hey, that woman you was with killed you. She killed you while you were asleep. She killed you while you sleep. That woman was with you and killed you. What? What? That woman you was with killed you. And then it dawns on you, oh man, I'm in hell. Ah! You know how many men done died like that? Playing around these women, you thought they couldn't do nothing to you, and they wind up killing you. You can't abuse somebody and kick them around like a dog and then expect them not to do nothing to you. You know you treat somebody bad like that. See, I'm one of them men like that. I wouldn't even trust that woman around me. If you already know you done did a bad, why you gonna... You can't trust her. You done did her too wrong. You done did her too wrong. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can't kick... And then with that being said, people definitely can't kick me around like I'm a dog. You done me too wrong for you to think I'm on your side. All right, come on. Even in this building, I know all the games they done played, man. You done did me too wrong for you to think, just like a woman being abused by a man, you can't trust that woman no more. You don't know what she gonna do to you. Well, see, that's people, I'm telling you, people like that, they always gonna end up dead. You know why? Because in their narcissistic nature, they didn't consider that person would kill them. They didn't think that you would conjure up a plan to destroy them. They thought you would just sit in a room and be abused. How you feel about that now? You feel like I'm the type to be in a room and be abused? Much as of an alpha male I am. Man, right here from this room, I done sent $73,000 down to South America, man. I've been doing stuff you wouldn't even think possible I could do in this room. I done sent $1 million from this room to South America. I done sent $73,000 from this room. While this supposed to be a room of abusing me. Man, you can't be serious, man. I've been sending, listen, I done sent more money than you ever sent in your life to another place in this room. I sent $73,000 just a week ago. What's this, Tuesday? Yeah, last Tuesday. This ain't a game. I sent $73,000. And you're abusing me. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. You abusing me, and I done sent $73,000 from this room. Clowns, man. That's all I'm saying. That's why I told you they ain't in the real world we live in, man. No, they not. Why they think they doing something to me and I done sent $73,000 from this room? That tells you I'm an alpha male. You thought I was gonna sit up here and be feeble and drawn up. I'm taking care of myself. And I'm gonna do everything else I gotta do. I'm just doing everything. See, I sit back and do everything nice and good and slow, like I need to. It get done. It get done. I said $73,000 from this room. Literally from this room. What you thought was happening here? I was being tortured. That's how you know I'm an animal, man. When you try to torture me, it don't work. And you know how you know I'm an animal? Because when you try to torture me, it don't work, do it? Come on, stop playing with me, bro. I sent $73,000 from this room. Tell Brooklyn, everybody paying attention, I sent $73,000 from this room. They gonna say, "What? How that happen?" The first thing they gonna say, "How that happen? How that happen? How that happen? How that happen? I sent $73,000. Oh, it ain't a lie. I sent $25,000 down to Jamaica since I've been here too. $25,000 to Jamaica. Kingston, Jamaica. Not Jamaica, Queens. Not Jamaica R. That's Jamaica R. Not Jamaica R. That's the fake Jamaica. Jamaica R. Call that Jamaica R, ain't it? Jamaica, not Jamaica R. Kings, Jamaica. Kingston, Jamaica. I sent money to Kingston, Jamaica, $25,000. Alright? Come on, stop playing, bro. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. I sent $25,000 down there. Well, let me check that for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's $25,000, buddy. $25,000. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. For sure, bro. For sure. Right after the storm, no lie. Might have been more. That's an estimate. I definitely sent more than 160. That's $25,000 down there. Minimum. I might have added $20 more to it. No less than $25,000. In all, that's $30,000. No lie. Over $30,000 in Jamaica. Kingston, Jamaica. It's not a game. It's not a game. That's what a real one's supposed to do. You give me a little room, I'm doing something. I got a party going on in here. You should have knew a real one was going to utilize a situation like that. Huh? That's how I'm going to utilize the situation. You think I'm going to be, what you thought I was going to be here talking to the room, to the walls, flipping, bouncing off the walls. That's what you thought. Well, he'll be in there bouncing off the walls. All that witchcraft, he'll be bouncing off the walls. Bro, I done sent over $30,000 to Jamaica. Not Jamaica R. Not Jamaica R. Stop playing with me, man. What y'all doing? What y'all doing out there? Come on, stop playing. See, what you're gonna learn is this, man. You can't play the little games and get me to go along with the little games you playing. I'm too real for that. I'm too much of an alpha male. You can't get me to conform to the games that you playing. You know what I'm saying? That's these little suckers with lower psychology. You know, you can control their psychology. You can't control my psychology. You can throw witchcraft. It's not gonna change ultimately what I'm doing. And that's the bottom line. It's not gonna change ultimately what I'm doing and what I set out to do, when I plan to do it. Everything I do is strategic and for certain reasons. You let these police play you, yeah, because all they gonna do is sound sirens out there. That's all they gonna do. And you get scooped up out of here and put in a body bag. All they gonna do, like white boys do, is sound sirens acting like they got your back and they can't do nothing for you if I want you. If I want you, what they gonna do? That's all I'm saying. So you save yourself. That's what you do. Save yourselves. You know, in the movies when they always do that. Save yourselves. That's what you better do. You better save yourself, sucker. I'm dead serious. Listen, I'm like they don't make them like me no more. Hey, keep it 100. They don't make them like me no more. I ain't fronting. Everybody already see the goods, man. They don't make them like me no more. Where you back it, you can talk your junk You can talk your junk and back it up. You talk your junk and back it up. See, that's the old school. See, that's when the black man, listen, thoroughbreds, old school black dudes, talk their junk and back it up. Do exactly what they say they're gonna do to you. They don't make them like me no more. You can't test the prophet. You can't test the prophet in these ghetto games, in these street games. Okay? I can't be challenged. You can't put me through the street games and then expect God to sit back and do nothing about it. See, now you see what the problem is? I shouldn't be going through none of that. And this is why. Not because I'm so special. Because I'm minding my business. That's what I'm saying. No, listen, hold up. You heard what you heard. I'm still minding my business, ain't I? Right. You heard what you heard. I'm still minding my business, ain't I? You heard what you heard though, right? But I'm minding my business, right? Okay. I'm supposed to talk like this as a man, as a real man. So that ain't the problem. The problem that ain't the problem. Not for people to understand black people. Oh, I'm supposed to talk like this. You playing with me, I'm supposed to. Oh yeah, buddy. The problem is you playing with me. That's the problem, buddy. Listen, everybody gonna sympathize with me. Everybody is gonna sympathize with me. Everybody gonna sympathize with me. Yeah. Cause you played with me, didn't you? Yeah, you did. You played with me, didn't you? Tell the head honchos, tell the black head honchos, the real roosters, the black roosters. You know, the stand-up guys, the head honchos. Tell them I done put $73,000 in South America in the past week. I done put $73,000 down there. The real bulls, right? Tell the bulls I put $73,000 down there. Because I need to be differentiated. I need to be differentiated from these other folks that's playing these games, right? I need you to understand the difference between me and them. I sent my first $1,000 to a church when I was 25 years old. You listen. Half of these people on the streets, half of these guys with money, you ain't never put $1,000 in a church. I did that when I was 25 years old. You heard what I said, right? I was 25, I put $2,000 in the church. You ain't never done that. $2,000 transactions. You ain't put $1,000 in a church. Oh, you put $1,000 everywhere else. You put $1,000 in a church? You didn't, did you? Oh, you might put a couple hundred. You might put about 200. See the different money lane that I got? See, this is where we at. We don't boast, but you see, this is where we at. You know what I'm saying? You ain't putting no money over here in God's kingdom. Listen, man, you definitely ain't on our level. How much you put in the church? A real church? $200? I bet for most head honchos, you might have shelled off $200. I mean, all 20s. Made it look more than what it is. You shelled off 10 20s, didn't you? I said $1,000, my first transaction in the church, $1,000. That was a church that actually was freeing slaves in Africa. This church, where I put my first $1,000 into, was freeing slaves in Sudan. In Sudan. This person was actually freeing slaves. You don't hear me. The church, the first church I gave to, where I gave $1,000, just in case you was thinking I was throwing away my money. This church was setting free African slaves. He was buying their freedom with the USD in Africa. Easy to do. I get it now. I get it what he was doing. He take the USD and goes free a slave easily in Sudan for thousands. But over here, USD probably a couple $100. Maybe 10, 20, 30, 40, $50, something like $50. I put my first $1,000 in that church. Just in case you think I throw money into these churches that don't do something. This white man was freeing slaves. Why you could I know a white man that have freed slaves. Free slaves now. What you do for black people? What you do for Africans? The church I gave to, even since I've been here, I've given to that church again. That man was freeing slaves, buying their freedom. Yeah. And I put $1,000 in a church like that. I took and put another $1,000 in a church like that. Now you see why I was motivated. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Goes without saying that was a Christian. Freeing African people. Okay? That's what kind of church I deal with. I still got that on standby. I still got that church on standby. See, I was working with that church in 2023. $100, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. That's the last time I was working with that church in 2023. Yeah. Freeing slaves, bro. Freeing African people. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the spirituality, man, is 100. You dealing with somebody a church that frees Africans from slavery. You mess around that kind of spirituality, boy, you a stupid little rabbit, ain't you? You a stupid little rabbit. Hey, I call you a stupid little rabbit, bro. You playing around somebody like that, boy. You crazy. Bugged out, one of them Ozzy Osbourne type of characters. Going off the rails on a crazy train. I'm going off the rails of a crazy train. That's the remix. Crazy, but that's how it goes. Millions of people living like foes. Maybe it's not too late to learn how to love and to forget how to hate. Mental wounds not healing, driving you insane. You're going off the rails on a crazy train. Going off the rails on a crazy train, ain't you? Going off the rails on a crazy train. Okay. Better get off that crazy train, bro, playing with God's people. You on that crazy train, ain't you? You on that crazy train playing with God's people, ain't you? Yeah, you gotta be. Playing around people that's freeing Africans from slavery. And I think I might have did it a couple times. I think I might have. I was doing so much with that church, giving so much money, man. Be honest with you, I don't even remember. I really don't. I probably did. I probably did a couple times. I probably definitely did. When knowing what it was doing, I probably did. Yeah, man. See, that's real spiritual work. Why you trying to be Ozzy? In other words, you trying to be this dark person, this witchcraft person, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nobody don't care nothing about that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, this generation, my generation younger, we don't care nothing about nobody doing no witchcraft. No, I don't care nothing about that. And we don't care nothing about these white folks. My generation and younger ain't gonna care nothing about no white folks. Straight like that. Like I told you, man, I walked around with a machete in New York. If somebody would have tried me, man, I would have pulled out a whole machete. I guarantee you they would have ran. Yeah, I don't want no problem, man. Come on, I don't want to. Yo, you gotta protect yourself. You still could be a man of God and protect yourself, man. It's an art to it. You get used to it. You get fluent with it. And God begin to show you how to carry yourself with weapons. You know what I'm saying? When you ain't out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? You ain't arrogant. You ain't overly arrogant. You ain't out here trying people because you got a weapon on you. You gonna act like a normal person. The longer you carry it, the better you're gonna become. Because you're gonna get rid of all that macho stuff. And you're gonna be just carrying a weapon, ready to protect yourself. See, that's the best. I don't change my attitude or nothing. Even though I know I always got the upper hand. I got the upper hand now. But I ain't gonna flex. You know what I'm saying? I'm just put things in proper perspective. You gotta tell these Ozzy Osbourne folks that's using witchcraft, man, they're out of league playing with me. Yes, sir, buddy. And I got another church in South Carolina that I deal with. This church this church is on plantation grounds. This was the church that the African slaves, the ancestors, the West Africans used to go to church. In this church, I sent money down there all in 2004 and some of last year too. So going on 2 years, I've sent money down there to a church on plantation grounds. Okay? That's real spirituality, buddy. You start sending money to a church on plantation grounds where slaves was at. You should be afraid. You should be afraid to even do that. Ooh, it should give you the heebie-jeebies. I didn't set out to do it at first. I found with Dr. Buzzard, who used hoodoo, right, and witchcraft. He's from St. Helena Island. That's where he was from, right? So I wanted to find a church in St. Helena Island in South Carolina where Dr. Buzzard was from. A Christian church to support, spiritual warriors to link up with. And I found down there, what they call praise house. A praise house was church for slaves. It was church on plantation grounds during the slavery times. And it's a small little church because how the slave owners made the churches for slaves was that it would be small so they couldn't conspire to leave the plantation. They couldn't conspire a plan to leave the plantation. So he made it where it was small, where they could only go in, a certain amount could only go in at a time, right? So I support a guy that actually keeps it open. He keeps it open to the public and everything. He made a video about it and everything. So yeah, they call praise houses. That was basically churches for slaves in the plantation times. If you look in South Carolina, they still have like a handful of them open. So I sent a little money down there, and I want to send more money down there, and but I just send money down there to help maybe with the light bill, the water bill, little stuff like that. I don't know if it's even water running in there or not, but it probably is lights. It might be, or I don't know. I don't know if they installed it later and water later. I don't know, throughout the years or whatever. Or, some people might have gone ahead and put that in there. So, I support that. I support just handling those type of things or whatever to keep it open. So now that's for anybody that's African cannot play with that kind of spirituality, buddy. When I'm sending money to a church on the plantation grounds, on plantation, no, you can't play with that, buddy. That's why you're losing. That's why you're losing. I know what I'm doing. I'm sending money to churches on plantation grounds with a black military man. He was a veteran. He was a veteran. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's a whole different level of spirituality. I know what I was doing. That's why I did it. I realized, oh man, the fact that the ancestors was in that church praising God in a time of oppression and slavery, that kind of energy, and you giving the offerings into that, you should be afraid, very afraid to play with somebody like me. You should be. And I wouldn't mess with nobody like me if I was on the outside. No, a man that's given to churches, a church that was a church for slaves, for the ancestors, where they in that kind of oppression, and they praising God through that oppression, and he goes and gives money into that energy, into that on those grounds. No way, no way, no way. And you can talk about whoever else you want to talk about, and I'm gonna talk about that. You can talk about all your leaders, and I'm gonna talk about what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? You can talk about whoever you respect, and I'm gonna talk about what I just said. You crazy enough to play with somebody like that? You crazy enough to get what you deserve? Make sense? Makes sense to me. Yeah. And I've been working with New Orleans too. New Orleans, Louisiana. That's too much for you to hang on, buddy. This ain't that city slickers spirituality. City slicker spirituality. No, this ain't none of that. Cause it ain't no secret that down south is the worst, is the most powerful spirituality on both sides. You're talking about hoodoo, voodoo, and the most potent Christianity. Okay? You deal with any type of spirituality. The most potent in America is going to be down south. That's where it's going to be. Not anywhere else in these cities, in the big city, nah. Because in the south, you're going to have less temptation and less distractions. Both. You're going to have less outcomes of sin and less outcomes of distractions. And you can cultivate more power because there's less distractions. Even if you're a Christian or if they're in the dark side, it's going to be more power because there's no distractions. It's just complete focus. I had complete focus on God when I was in the South. No distractions. So a person like that just grows and grows and grows and grows, and it's nothing. It's no distractions. It's no hindrance. Okay, that's why I already got a good foundation. I already got a real good foundation of who I am in spiritual power. So when you play with somebody that is dealing with the South and spirituality, we second to none. We second to none when it comes to spirituality. And then you a fool if you play with some Southern people in spirituality. That's another thing that these New Yorkers don't realize. You can have all that psychological stuff that y'all be doing. You can have that down pat with the Freemasons. But one thing they did not consider is playing with Southern spirituality. And that even applies to Christians, not just witchcraft. If you play with Southern Christianity, it's worse than witchcraft. If you play with Southern Christianity, it's worse than witchcraft. Because there's spiritual power in our lives, real spiritual power. You forgot that I'm from North Carolina, didn't you? I know you forgot. Southern Christianity is worse, more potent than witchcraft. The right people that know what they're doing, that is not intimidated by these other people talking about, oh, you don't supposed to do nothing to no people. Well, people don't supposed to do nothing to me. Well, you don't supposed to do nothing to no people. Well, people don't supposed to do nothing to me. They don't supposed to be messing around me either. And that's why they're getting what they're getting. These Americans are going to learn the hard way. Buddy, listen. Southern spirituality is the worst. I don't care nothing about what you're talking about with New York. New York should know better. You can't play with no Southern spirituality, man. You know that for sure, man. If not for any other reason, I can break it down why. Because up here, you don't have enough focus to wield the level of spirituality that I wield. You can't, you don't have enough focus to do it. There's too many distractions, there's too much noise, there's too much funny energy and vibration in the atmosphere. You can't even imagine complete focus. You can't even imagine complete focus and what that can do to a person. Complete focus. I had that for a long time. And that's why I'm as spiritual as I am. Okay? I sent money down to New Orleans, Louisiana. I started working with the South in spiritual warfare. As soon as I sent money to Louisiana, New Orleans, that's when these people got scared. They got really very, 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 very scared. Because now you know it's a matter of life and death when you start dealing with high potent levels of spirituality in places like New Orleans. No lie. Because if the right person that know their rights and they know how to wield against witches and wield against witchcraft, you could die. They're not going to play no games. You know that. It's spiritual warfare. They're not going to play any games. They're not going to be like these other people that are talking about loving you and nothing. Nah, what you talking about loving you? I don't think that's our kind of relationship, do you? I don't think that's what we got going on here is love. Is it love is what we got going on? You know that ain't what we got going on over here. Ain't no love going on over here. Okay, so then a Southern spiritual man like me, I'm not gonna play no games with you. Okay? I'm not gonna play no okie doke games. I went down to I started working with New Orleans. That's how we say it in North Carolina, New Orleans. Y'all might say New Orleans. We say New Orleans. So in New Orleans, that's how we say it in North Carolina. I started working with New Orleans probably like 2 years ago. And the first time I sent money to New Orleans, my brother got killed. Because, you know what? I believe that these witchcraft people had something to do with it. I do. Either they were trying to curse me and it backfired and went to my bloodline. That could have happened. Or they could have directly cursed my family and that could have happened like that. Or they could have just sent, besides witchcraft, they could have manually sent somebody to my family. Because they know, everybody know, they was that afraid of what that connection with New Orleans would do. They were that afraid of it. Because that, it don't get no tougher. You talking about witchcraft and spirituality, it don't get no tougher than New Orleans. It don't get no tougher. And that's what they was afraid of. So that's what made me think that they did it. They sent something, either witchcraft against me. They went and tried to find some witch that could curse me, and it backfired, and those spirits went to my bloodline, and my brother got killed. Or they could have cursed him directly, or they just sent somebody physically without witchcraft to my brother to kill him. But that same month that I sent an offering, I could hear the panic, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a prophet, I can hear the panic. And when I sent an offering to New Orleans, Louisiana, that's when they start panicking, and then my brother got killed that same month. He got killed that same month. What's the coincidence? You hear panic, and then, because think about it, they already know I'm a spiritual threat. They already knew that a long time ago. Then they see that you are working with New Orleans. That's the strongest not just witchcraft, that's the strongest spirituality in the country, right? So I believe they sent somebody to kill my brother, or to curse him, or to curse me, and they tried to curse me and it backfired, and it cursed my bloodline, and it found my brother. Those spirits found my brother. He was the only one slipping, and or slipping enough, put it like that. And I think that's what happened. It's just too coincidental. I'm too spiritual to think that just is a coincidence. I just happen to be working with New Orleans and spirituality, and then all of a sudden these people get they panic. I can hear the panic before I even heard about my brother dying. I hear the panic, right, from these goofy white girls, these goofy white witchcraft people. I can hear the panic, right? And it's worth panicking for, because that level of spirituality is no game. Like I said, I'm not gonna play with you. I'm the same way. I'm not gonna patty cake with no witches and patty cake with no witchcraft people. I'm gonna set up legality, spiritual legalities, and you're gonna die eventually. That's what's gonna happen. And you walk away emotionless. You have no emotion about this. See, them American Christians, these American Christians around here, they the ones that, these Americanized Christians, they the ones gonna love on you and all that stuff. I ain't doing none of that. I ain't loving on none of these people that's been consistent in witchcraft. No, I am not. You don't know how far this has been going on. That's why I don't pay no attention. Because now if you seen all that was going on, there wouldn't be nothing you could say. But you didn't see it. You just went by what you heard, and come on, they gonna manipulate that. If you ain't listen to me and you listen to them, they gonna manipulate you. That's what's gonna happen. They gonna paint their narrative. That's common sense. And they ain't gonna tell you in that narrative that they've been playing games for years and years and years. Because as soon as you hear that as a Christian, you like, well, I don't know what's gonna happen. That's what you're gonna say. I don't know what's gonna happen. You've been playing with that man for years. I can't tell you what's gonna happen. No. And I ain't gonna be arrogant enough to tell you what's gonna happen. And somebody that's in witchcraft ain't gonna be arrogant enough to tell you what's gonna happen. Nobody ain't gonna be able to tell you what's gonna happen. You played with somebody for years and years, and you realize he was a prophet, and he working with all kind of people all around the country, working with New Orleans and all different kind of other places. In spirituality now, not going and taking a trip to New Orleans. He's working with people in New Orleans in spirituality. This is why they panicked. And I believe they may have tried to find some high-ranking witch or warlock to curse me, and it couldn't. They couldn't find no entry. And those spirits went to my bloodline and attacked my brother, or they cursed him it directly, or they just sent somebody to kill him as a distraction. It's just not a coincidence to somebody like me. You know, the same month you start working with somebody in New Orleans, and you already know the enemies are panicking, and then your brother died after that. This is not a game. I said, brother. That's why people that think I don't got no things to worry about and think about and everything, and life is all good for me. Man, I just told you I lost my stepbrother, and I grew up with him. So you can't say he ain't mean nothing to me. I'm just strong enough to survive. You know, I'm strong enough to not break down, but you know, that's surreal to me. That's unbelievable. You know, because he was young. He was a young man. He would have still been in his 30s right now. He would have been 30. What's this year? 2024. He would have been 38. Yeah. He would have been 38. Yeah. 38 years old. Not even 40 yet. And the thing about it, he was always the best. He was the best. He was the well-mannered, most well-mannered kid out of my father's sons. I'm the oldest son, and out of all the sons, he was the well-mannered son. I ain't never hear about him getting locked up, arrested. The rest of us got arrested. Every last one of us, except for him. I never seen him arrested. I never heard about him getting arrested or nothing. And that's what makes it so bad. He wasn't really in the streets. You know, he was doing good. He had his own place and everything. And now he's dead, you know? And so, you know, I just know that I just feel like they had something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? I can't stress that too much to my dad. You know, it's a sensitive subject. If he felt that way, if he kind of said something that I could piggyback off of, then I would tell him that I believe it was the Freemasons or the secret societies or these people working witchcraft. I think it was. But it's such a sensitive subject. I don't want to put that in somebody's head if they can't believe it, because it could be offensive. You know what I'm saying? So being that it could be offensive if you don't believe it, I wouldn't have that discussion with my father unless he said something to the degree that I feel like I could piggyback off of it and tell him that, you know, I believe it was the secret societies, Freemasons, bitter black people, you know, conspiring black people, because it's just too coincidental. You know what I'm saying? It's just way too coincidental. I had just started working spirituality with New Orleans that earlier before it happened. That same month though. It was the same month. So I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that was panic. They panicked because you can't doubt that level of spirituality. You can't doubt it. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And what you will be first and foremost afraid of is death. death coming to you. And other witches sensing what you're doing because of what I'm revealing down there. And not even on my side, but other witches sensing what's going on in the atmosphere, and they realize, okay, these witchcraft people or these telepaths or psychics are doing this stuff, and they pick up on everything you're doing, right? And they want you dead for playing the games, for you playing with the community. So even that could be possibly figured out. I looked at all of that during that time. That witches and warlocks down there in New Orleans could pick up on what these people doing up here in New York and decide to want to go to war with these people. Because everybody ain't with all this stuff. No, everybody's not with all this stuff. Everybody's not with all this cornball Mickey Mouse monkey business. Everybody ain't with this stuff, even on the wicked side, on the witchcraft side. That's what you gotta realize. No, because it's some people, the people that are more experienced know it would have led to this. They knew it would have led to this. You have to understand rules and regulations, even with witchcraft. You can't use witchcraft like a gang banger. Y'all supposed to be witchcraft thugs. Witchcraft thugs. You the witchcraft Tupac. You can't be Tupac and do witchcraft, buddy. No, you can't. You can't use witchcraft and be Tupac and come out here and just use witchcraft on the community and think ain't nothing gonna happen to you. Or just use it on one person and just think ain't nothing gonna happen. You got what you deserve. See, a seasoned witch or expert witch would tell you, you can't just use this witchcraft like you want, like a gangbanger. Like you pulling up on people. Nah, you can't use witchcraft like that. Now you know. I know that. And I don't even, because I just know rules and regulations. I just know reciprocity and karma. I know better than that. You can't use witchcraft like no gangbanger. And that's what they was doing. That's what they was doing. They was using witchcraft like they pulling up on people. I'm coming for you. You can't have that approach to witchcraft. It's not going to work. It's not going to be understood. If that makes sense. By spirits and demons, they ain't going to understand you a sucker trying to pull up on somebody. You start using this witchcraft. That power has to go somewhere. It has to. And if it bounce off of me, guess what? It's going to go all out to your community. It ain't going to ever hit me. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to hit your community. That's what it's doing. It ain't going to hit me. It's going to go right to this community. It's going to go right to Brooklyn. The first immediate community around here. It's going to go to Brooklyn, all throughout Brooklyn. That's why all these strange things happen in Brooklyn, fires and Maduro, the president coming up here. It ain't coincidence. They've been using witchcraft in this community against me. Okay, so you suffered. That's what happened. That's what happened. So, I don't sympathize. I don't sympathize. I watch these people run around like they gangsters with witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? You can't a seasoned witch is gonna tell you you can't be riding around using witchcraft like you Crips and Bloods. And that's what these young lame suckers gonna try to do. You can't use witchcraft like no gangbangers. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it was. I'm telling you, that's what it was. And it's rules and regulations. It's still gonna apply. It don't matter if you're trying to people misunderstand or it really ain't no misunderstanding. I understand perfectly. You don't understand perfectly what you're doing. You use witchcraft out here like you use witchcraft like Tony. I couldn't resist that one. You using witchcraft like Tony, coming out here dancing and singing around. You using witchcraft like DJ Quick and Tony. Hey man, listen. Listen. You can't come out here using witchcraft like DJ Quick, man. You know what I'm saying? Nah, you can't come out here like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, DJ Quick is DJ Quick from Compton. I had the first DJ Quick album, Born and Raised in Compton. I had that. You're not DJ Quick. You can't come out here with witchcraft like you from Compton, like you from CPT, buddy. You're not from CPT, and if you are, in this if you are a witchcraft person from CPT, you can't come out here using witchcraft like gangbangers from CPT, buddy. That simple as that. You know, and you got to understand that. You can't. You can't. You know what I'm saying? And that's what that's how you know people are suckers, man. Cause you try to come out here like gangsters and witchcraft gangsters. You can't come out here like that, man. That's why we folded you, man. And I make more sense and I'm more believable and relate. Ironically, I relate more to the streets than you. But you try to come out here and get all out with the culture and try to put a blend with the culture. With gang bang, like spirituality with witchcraft meets the streets, and it don't work, buddy. You know why? Because in arrogance, you're gonna do the wrong thing. You're gonna use witchcraft against the wrong people. That's what it is. That's what happened to you. And now I'm on top. That's what it is. You can't use witchcraft against everybody. A witch would not use no witchcraft against no prophet. No, that's suicide. That's gonna come right back. That's all that's happening. It's gonna come right back. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know what I'm talking about. I watched this too long. I watched this way too long. You can't use witchcraft like you thugging, you know what I'm saying? No. And that's what these young people that use witchcraft gonna think like, in terms of, you gonna act like you thugging. You can't use witchcraft like you thugging, bro. No. Because you gonna use it too excessively or on the wrong people too excessively. And when that happens, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna cause all kind of hell. It's gonna cause all kind of drama. It's gonna backfire off me. It's gonna backfire off of me and hit this whole community and everything like that. That's why I say they working for me. They working for me. You working for me, because it's going my way. It's going my way. All this stuff coming down. I mean, all these people being used against me, I want it to come down anyway. So when you use witchcraft against me and do all this stuff, it's gonna go right to them. That's what it's gonna go to. It's gonna go right to America. So you working for me indirectly. That's why I stayed. Why you think I stayed in this situation? I already know what this whole building is doing. They all using witchcraft. They all enemies and everything. I already know that. Why you think I stayed? Because I'm utilizing you against your own community. Long as you use witchcraft against me and surround me in this building, in this room, in this community, long as you got this surround me, it's over. So I'm just standing in the heat and letting it, and it's destroying your community. That's what's happening. I would have been left. My intuition been told me what this whole situation is. I stayed here in order to defeat these people. Now, basically, I could leave New York if I wanted to, because it's on the road of, going off the rails on the crazy train. That's what happened to you. Going off the rails on the crazy train. America, you done going off the road. You rogue. And that's what it is. You off-road and rogue now. Playing around Greenland, playing around South America, playing around, in the Middle East. Got this plan for Gaza, all that. People don't want America over there in Gaza. You forgot about that? No, they don't. It don't matter how good it sounds. They don't want America over there. It's where it's at. This is a result of America letting these people run wild. Ain't nobody gonna, play with my manhood and play with me as a man and then think ain't nothing gonna happen. And New York is not no exception. Brooklyn is no exception. Now we can show you, now you see strange things can happen to Brooklyn too. You got President Maduro right here. Anybody with a brain can see what's going on. Why you think he here? Remind you, it couldn't have happened like that. It couldn't have happened like that. It could have happened where he was out of sight and they ain't catch him. They almost didn't catch him. He was closing the door when they came in. But he's here in Brooklyn. Why you think it's like that? Because all the way Brooklyn conspired against me, that's probably the reason. That's probably the reason, because America conspired against me. Brooklyn conspired against me. Now you got Maduro right here. Somebody you don't want to suffer. Now you got to see that person suffer right here when you tried to make me suffer. See how it works? Suffering right here in New York for how you tried to make me suffer here in New York. And I don't wish that on him. I really don't. But everybody got to play their position to where we all go through key people go through certain things for these Americans to be perceived properly as the enemy they are to the community. We got to play our position for America to be perceived properly for who they are. We got to go through this. We got to go through this. And so that they perceive properly for who they are. Now people take it seriously. Now people see what we talking about. So now the next time people mention me opposing America, it hits differently. Because now you see all the stuff they doing. Now you see all the people they playing with. Now you're seeing all the people they playing with. Okay, so then it's going to hit differently. It's going to hit a lot differently. It's going to resonate differently, in other words. You're going to see it differently. And that's working to our advantage. So we got to play these positions, man, in order for people to see, man, in order for us to be taken seriously and everything like that. And, like I said, I don't wish that on him, but it's a position that, we got to play these positions for us, for people to see America as they are. They don't send a prophet through these tests and play with me, and then the ghetto can't even facilitate a man like me anyway. These same people that even if they was on my side, what can they do for me? What can they actually do for me if they was on my side? Nothing, man. Nothing, really. They can't facilitate somebody like me. Because first of all, you're not serving God. You're not serving God. So how you gonna facilitate me and my purpose when you don't serve God and your purpose? Come on, man. So it could never work. It could never work. It's foolishness to think that me and them could have ever got together. And that comes full circle to my message. All this testing stuff, right? But we can't get together. So even if I pass the test to as far as they go, we still can't be together. So then what is it worth? For me, I don't get anything out of it. I don't get nothing out of it. Man, God is going to make me live. Don't ever think you could threaten my life. That was fake. You could never achieve, as Americans, taking my life. They never could achieve that. You felt that you could, but you couldn't. You thought you could, but you could never do that. That's why I'm still here. I'm still in my right mind. I'm still who I am. I'm stronger than ever. You can't stop me as Americans. You can't stop me. So talking about whatever you're talking about as far as me living and protecting me or whatever you're talking about. Nah, listen, buddy, listen. You never could perform any of that stuff that you projected to the community like you could do something to me. You couldn't do nothing. And now it's becoming ever real. Now you're starting to realize, well, I don't know if we could have ever done anything to this person. Because he's too spiritual. He's too powerful. You didn't know who I was. You would have never made it. You would have never killed me. Anyway, so talk about something else. Because you don't offer me nothing. You're not doing nothing for me. You're not protecting me. Scratch that. God is protecting me. You didn't let me live. Scratch that. God let me live. Okay, so what did you do for me? When we scratch all those things? Nothing, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. You ain't do nothing for me. You ain't do nothing. And that's what I'm saying. They didn't do nothing. Okay? Now people respect us like I'm from the CPT. People respect me like I'm from you know what I'm saying? Like I'm from the CPT. Like I'm a soldier out here from the CPT because I stood my ground and I took all that America could do for me. I took all that America could do to me. Now I'm getting my respect like a G. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they jealous of off that. That's what they jealous of now. It's real. It's definitely real. As real as I'm sending $1 million down to South America, Colombia. Medellin, everybody know Medellin, Colombia, where all the cocaine came from in the 70s and the 80s. All the cocaine that hit America came from the Colombian area, the Medellin area. Most of it. Okay, I found a church down there and sent $1 million down there. Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'm not on the same peewee levels that they talking about. All that they reference to me like I'm a peewee. That's how I look at it. Like I'm a BG. Like I'm a puppy. I'm no puppy, buddy. You out your mind. And that's another part of this situation. Testing me like I'm a puppy. Putting paper down on the ground like I'm a puppy. Well, you gotta put some paper down. Listen, buddy. You putting paper down in your neighborhood like I'm a puppy. That's what I'm saying. See, we would have been further along if you would have already understood. I'm a made man already. I'm a made man. I'm coast to coast. I live coast to coast, man. So testing me don't make sense to me. And then especially if you don't got a reward in your hand. If you don't got a reward in your hand, if you don't got no money in your hand, you shouldn't be testing nobody if you don't have a reward. If you don't have a reward, you shouldn't be testing nobody. You shouldn't test nobody if you ain't got a reward. You ain't got a reward, then don't test nobody. You test people without rewards. Okay, the person passed the test with a reward at. Where's the nothing? Okay, we go to war about that. Because you shouldn't be out here testing people without a reward. Who are you? And see, now we realize you're reduced down to everyday people. You're reduced down to common people, and you shouldn't have been out here like that. That's how we see it. I mean, you shouldn't have been out here like you were some grand, great committee over God's people. You played yourself now. Now you played yourself. And listen, I don't know what you want me to say. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying, man. So we ain't confused about none of this. We know what time it is, man. Do you know what time it is? It's time for these people to pay. And I hate to tell you, a lot of black people gonna have to pay. A lot of them. I'm talking about millions. I'm talking about millions. And also white people too, millions. Millions of them got to pay. That's from coast to coast, from west coast to the east coast, down south, everywhere, up here in New York, everywhere. Millions got to suffer. Not just for me. What you need to know, and I'm glad I thought about this, the same test that you know that they put me through, right? I just happen to be one of the most highest ranking going through it. That's why you know about me, because I'm one of the most highest ranking going through it. But it's thousands of other Christians going through the same thing. You don't believe that, do you? No, hold up. You see everything that I'm going through, right? Imagine thousands of other Christians, good-hearted, sweet people, going through the same thing. They not telling you that. No, listen. I put this on my credibility, on everything I love. Listen, I put this on my credibility. They doing this to other Christians that ain't got nothing to do with no pedophilia or bestiality or whatever else, some other devious stuff they talking about. No fetishes or nothing, right? Like you don't even know these people like that deep enough. They playing with all kind of Christian people in America, man. and the Americans know about it. So you might think the biggest conspiring thing going on is me, and really that's not it. The biggest conspiracy is all they doing against all these other Christians, just because they Christians. Did you hear what I said? All this conspiracy because people are Christians. Not because they did nothing, because they Christians, and they acting like we one big team that they fighting. You get it, right? These corny people out here thinking it's good against evil, and we gonna go against all these Christians. See, they not telling you that part. So just when you thought you believed the worst part, okay, I can believe what he going through, I can believe him, I can believe everything he talking about, okay, now I'm good, I can believe all of this. Do you believe what I just told you? Right here. This is the hardest part to believe. The hardest part to believe is that they doing it to other Christians in America. Not just me. And you know how you know? You know how you're going to find out? If you take all of this seriously, all you have to do is go to YouTube and watch gang stalking, Christian messages on gang stalking, Christian messages on flying monkeys, Christian messages on Freemasons, Christian messages on secret societies. And you'll see all these Christians talking about being gang stalked in public, being gang stalked throughout around where they live and everything, being gang stalked by all these secret societies everywhere they go. So which the biggest part to believe, and I'm glad I'm saying this part, the biggest part to believe for the everyday American is that they doing this against Christians. Just Christians that ain't doing nothing. They had you under the suspicion that I did something, right? Okay, but what about these other Christians that ain't done nothing? They ain't done nothing at all. They're not guilty of nothing. I'm not guilty of nothing, but I'm just saying there's nothing on the table. You know, there's nothing that they're even talking about on the table. They're not even talking about nothing. Did you hear what I said? They're not even saying they did something sexual or they're a pedophile or whatever. That's what I'm trying to say. They ain't nothing on the table. Ain't no accusations on the table. Ain't nobody saying they did anything. Even though they didn't prove anything about me, these people though, it's nothing being said. They just gang stalking them. They just on the same thing that they doing to me. So if you don't believe me, all you have to do is go to Christian messages on gang stalking. You gotta say Christian message because there's a lot of people talking about gang stalking. Even some people that use witchcraft and all of that and divination and everything. That's why you have to specifically put Christian messages on gang stalking, God handling gang stalking, incorporating spiritual terminology, Christian terminology with the term gang stalking. You know what I mean? And you will find so many Christian messages and Christians going through the same thing. So that's what they're not telling the public. They're not going to tell. See, this is how it really is in the last days. Christians are underhandedly being gang stalked in America. Now you see why I'm like this. Because I know they gang stalking Christians. Not just me. Not just me. They gang stalking Christians too. They gang stalking Christians. That's what they doing. You know, so you know, you got to make up your mind what you believe. You know what I'm saying? You got to make up your mind how you going to process this information. Because I don't got no reason to lie about it. I'm not saying it haphazardly. I'm not saying it after a couple weeks. This is years and years of watching this stuff. And I really mean that. This is years and years of watching this. Including other messages from other Christians on gang stalking. I ain't just started seeing that either. I've seen, they've been talking about gang stalking Christians. Christians been talking about it for at least, for me, I've seen it for like at least about 4 years. At least about 4 years, going on 5 years. dating back to about 2021. But you can go back further than that. Once you go on the page, once you go on their page, you're gonna see Christians been talking about. I'm like, man, I realized, oh man, they doing this to all these Christians. They doing the same thing to all these Christians. And see, right there is where you have to accept. Look, man, I thought it was just this one guy. I didn't know they was doing this to all these Christians. So now that I do know, oh, well, all this stuff gonna happen. Oh, no. They doing this to all these Christians. We're overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed with the truth that we can't get away with doing this to these good, sweet Christian people out here. No, we can't do that. We can't get away with that. It's too many of them. Now, if it was just him, you're not getting away with messing with him either. But you could just forget about it. When you've been gang stalking all these other Christians with their own story and they ain't done nothing to nobody, and you just want to play good versus evil, that's how you need to hear it. They just want to play good versus evil. That's what that Ozzy Osbourne mentality. That's all it is. That's all it is. Black people, we ain't like that. We ain't built like that. Not good white black people in their right mind. We ain't gonna oppose no Christians, man. You know what I mean? No. That's white boy, and I'm not being racist, that's white boy stuff. He gonna get out here and think he Ozzy Osbourne. And he gonna mess around and find out, like he already have. That we got spirituality over here too. And we know how to use it. I know how to use it. I'm one of the few that know how to use it properly. I ain't gonna sit up here and love on you and treat you. Nah. You gang stalking all these Christians, you gang stalking everybody. It's time to go to war. That's all it is to it. That's 7 hours. That's all it is to it. We ain't talking about nothing else. Ain't nothing else to talk about. They went against Christians, and America needs to come to terms with it. Just like what I said. They are going against Christians. That's how you need to hear it. Okay? Not just me now. That's how you need to hear it. They went against Christians, and ain't no way they gonna tell me it's not true. How I know also, 2 women I dated complained about being gang stalked. 2 women I dated. They sent me texts complaining about it. They sent me a text complaining about, one of them said, I wish I was, this is the text. It's 3 different texts from this one person. I'm gonna show you this one person. She was like, she texted me, like, I wish I was never gang stalked. She understood the term. She understood, probably looked online and everything and understood what it was. She said this out of her own mouth. I wish I wasn't, well, by text. I wish I was never gang stalked. I wish I was never gang stalked. I'm scared. This is another text she wrote. That's 2. My life ain't gonna never be the same. That's 3 texts. She said, how that's a lie? How is that a lie? If you was crazy, you wouldn't think, you wouldn't distinguish nothing different. You wouldn't say, oh, my life I ain't gonna never be the same again. You wouldn't say nothing like that because you would be already crazy and already talking about something. Does that make sense? This person was able to distinguish when the gang stalkers came into her life. When she interacted with me. That's what it was. Once she came around me, they started gang stalking her. And then she said her life ain't gonna never be the same. They gang stalked a woman that had nothing to do with none of this stuff that I was dating. I was dating a woman, and I was in a relationship with this woman as my wife, right? They gang stalked her to the point where she say her life ain't gonna never be the same. Now, if she was crazy, she would have already been talking about whatever that is. You see what I'm saying? She would have already been talking about something. It wouldn't be a distinguished time. She wouldn't have distinguished now from the past, because she would have already been crazy talking about something. She distinguished times, which means she was able to see something differently. She seen the gang stalking going on. And that's how you know she wasn't crazy. At least, well, she wasn't crazy enough not to see the gang stalking. She seen it. She seen the gang stalking. And she said she ain't gonna never be the same. She's scared, all of that stuff. The second woman, this is more than one woman that I dated, that I was intimate with. 2 wives, women that I made my wives. This other woman down south, where I just came from, I told her about, I described the gang stalking like in public and everything like that, and how they do in public and how they do us in public. In the grocery stores, they love the gang stalk at the grocery store because they know you got to get food. Most people are reclusive anyway, but they know you got to come out here and get food. So of course they're gonna be out there in the grocery stores, phone bill places, things like that. Anywhere where you got to run necessities, you got to run errands for necessities, right? Okay, so they're gonna be in all those type of places. Okay, so yeah, I told her, this was last year, I told her how it was with gang stalking and like how they gang stalking in public. She knew everything I was talking about. See, usually a person that's being gang stalked, they already know the details, and then all you got to do is show them the term and confirm the details of what they already going through. They're going to say, yeah, I'm already going through that. That's what she told me. She said, yeah, I go through that every time I go outside. She heard it, what I said. I didn't rave and convince her and shove it down her mouth. I said what I said, what it is, right? Once I settled in with her, right? Because I moved from New York down there to with her. So she was like, yeah, I go through that every time I go outside. Every time. That sounds just like them. And so then I started looking around at the apartment complex where she lived at. It was gang stalkers all in the office. They were Freemasons all in the office and everything. Illuminati and everything. They was all in the office. Okay? So this woman wasn't accused of anything. This was a black woman from the islands. She didn't do anything wrong. Okay? There was nothing she did. Okay, so then what was the purpose of her being gang stalked? See, what I'm trying to show you, it's not as innocent as they trying to tell you it is. They trying to act like it's only on these people who got cases. It's only on these people that's been accused of something. Well, explain the women that I've been with, why they were gang stalked. Explain it. She ain't do nothing. She wasn't accused of anything. So why is she being gang stalked? Even if you felt like she supports me and you a cornball and you think like that, most people ain't gonna let you still do it. They gonna say you gotta keep that beef between you and that person. You can't put it against these women that he with. Nah, cause they ain't got nothing to do with that. You gotta keep that beef between you and him. And they was cornballs and they thought it was gang banging and Crips against Bloods, and whoever on your side is like Crips and Bloods and it's teams. Cornballs think it's teams. And that's how they played themselves. Because once you start gang stalking innocent people that had no accusations, nothing against them, that's when we won. That was the checkmate right there. You can't gang stalk people that ain't done nothing. They ain't got no accusations. I'm innocent, but it was people accusing me. There was nobody accusing them. That's what I'm saying. Nobody was accusing these women. Okay, so the second woman also said, well, yeah, I ain't got nobody to talk to about it. She said, this is what she said out of her mouth. I ain't asked her, did she have somebody? She volunteered this expression. I put it like that. She volunteered this expression. She said, I don't have anybody to talk to about it. Now, if that was fake, then why would she be talking like that? If she wasn't gang stalked, why would she be talking like, I ain't got nobody to talk to about this? Especially a woman. Think about a woman now. And even if their mental health is not perfect, that don't mean this person can't, they're not being gang stalked, or they can't sense when they're going through something, or they can't be, or what they talking about is they crazy, like they must be crazy. Nah, they can have pretty decent mental health and still be going through stuff. And still be going through being gang stalked, which means, they could have some questionable mental health, but it don't mean they not being gang stalked. See, that's where it get tricky. Okay, they could be having some flaws mentally, but you still gonna be able to see, even if you got flaws mentally, when something's not right, when it's not normal. That's what I'm saying. That's how they gonna gaslight everybody looking. Oh, these people crazy. Don't pay them no attention. But the bottom line is they gang stalking innocent people, right? Right. And we know that, and that's where they lose, buddy. So what I want you to realize is as Americans, they not telling you all the other people they gang stalking, all the people that's associated with other people. Like for me, an example. I am who I am, right? But they can gang stalk all these other people around me that ain't got nothing to do with it. My mom, they even gang stalking my mom. That's the truth. I know everything. That's why I'm not gonna stop. They gang stalking my mom. She already told me. And when the last time I was with my mom, I already seen then the gang stalkers on the routines. When we was running errands, I pay attention to the routines and everything. I can tell. You can tell because the gang stalker's gonna do stuff to stick out. You know what I'm saying? You can see them on the routines. You can see all of that stuff. So they've been gang stalking my mom and everything. And this is why it's a war, bro. That's why it's a war. I know what I'm talking about, man. I know what I'm talking about. They pretty much this is how I look at it. They gang stalking everybody that we associated with that's in our circles. Okay, I know that, man. I'm not stupid. So see, that's how far the rabbit hole goes. Where they gang stalking our family, they gang stalking our mother, they gang stalking our father, they gang stalking everybody that's helping us. That's why if you notice, if you a high target, people that really used to cash app you money and everything, they stop really helping you, right? Or they kind of question helping you, something to that degree. That was because they were being gang stalked in so many words. In so many ways. That's what it was, That's why they stopped helping you. So I know what's going on. So for people that try to play it like it's just me, like that cornball game, if you thinking that, that's because they gaslight you. They gaslit you to make you feel like I'm the only one. Man, that's foolishness, man. Go look online and see all these people. And assume that also the people you see this gang stalk, consider that their family is being gang stalked. All the family, the people in their family. Which means even the teenagers and everything, they probably gang stalking them too. That's what I'm saying. That's how far it goes. To anybody in their immediate circle. That's what they doing it to. And that's what make them think they tough by doing that. And all they doing is using a white man's fraternity that had decades and decades to build itself. That's all they doing. These Freemasons and all these secret society people had decades and decades. It's not bad if you had decades to do it and build it. And then you just get to run around with this whole old network that they've had for decades and decades. That's not really tough to me. You've had too long to do it. We've done things in our lifetime that you would listen that people can't even do in 2 and 3 and 4 generations. They haven't done it in 4 generations. That's me. I've been talking about child marriage. You show me somebody in the past 2 or 3 or 4 generations before me talking about it. It was here. I do more. I do what great men do. I do things more than the past 2 or 3 generations. They ain't do what I did. No. Nobody in America was talking about child marriage laws but me. And California just got new child marriage laws in July 1st, 2019. All I'm saying is this, man. You know, this is why this stuff is happening to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever get it twisted and let them pull you into this cartoon world like I'm the only person. That if you don't hear anything else, I am not the only person they doing this to. And that's what should make you angry. Because see, if they told you they were doing this to other Christians, you would object of it as Americans. Americans ain't gonna allow Christians to be gang stalked. So they had to make me like the poster boy for all of this stuff. But underhandedly, because you're more focused on this, because I'm the one getting results, right? You know what I mean, though. Let's keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? You can see the patterns when I fast and when I give offerings. That's not saying anything against anybody else, right? But it's some people that ain't even Christians. They ain't doing nothing about it. Okay, I am doing something about it. Okay, you know, so it's easy for everybody to pay attention to me, not realizing they doing it to people in my family. You pay attention. They doing it to people in my family, my mother, everything. She complained about it. Having thoughts to cross her mind, strange, crazy stuff that she don't even, that's what it is. She already told me, so that's why I know. I already know, man, and that's why I'm not stopping. That's why I'm more dangerous than ever, because they gang stalk my mom, things like that, man. So, you know, it's personal. It's very personal. It's very, very, very personal. Okay, so that's case closed. So you shouldn't even expect me to stop when they gang stalk my mom, right? Nah. Sorry, buddy. She already told me. You know what I'm saying? I already know the signs. I've been through it myself. I already know when I hear it. I already know what it is. Okay? And then I got girlfriends complaining about it. My wives that I was with was complaining about it. I gave you 3 people besides myself. So you can get stuck off of me. You can stop thinking about me. Okay? What you need to do is wake up and realize they underhanded, the Americans, the United States is underhandedly gang stalking Christian community. Okay? Get that in your head. It's not just me. That's the clowns and cornballs trying to make it like it's just me. Okay? That's the clown. That's the clown game. Okay? Meanwhile, simultaneously, they gang stalking the whole Christian community, which means also all these Christian YouTubers. Listen, the famous Christian YouTubers that got like 10K subscribers or better. Let's just start there. Let's just say 5K. You can even go to 5K. 5K or better subscribers. All Christians, right? That means you can go online, you can go on YouTube, right? You can go on YouTube and see all subscribers. All the YouTubers that got mad subscribers, right? And they Christians. You could go to each one of them, right? And you know, and you go now when you see a Christian that got more than about 4 or 5K subscribers, right? 4K subscribers, you go watch their videos. They gonna talk about stuff about being gang stalked, monitoring spirits. That's another term to use. Monitoring spirits, flying monkeys, gang stalking, being gang stalked. Why is all these Christians talking about being gang stalked? That's what I want you to think about. These are normal, everyday people. How can all of them be mentally sick? How can all of them be deranged or not? All of these people from all different walks of life, white people, black people, all different types, Hispanic, Latinos, all talking about the same thing. It's not. It's a whole community of Christians that's doing these YouTube videos. They go into their city and gang stalking each person. They finding them. They finding their neighborhoods. That's how you need to hear it. That's what the Freemasons are doing. The secret societies are doing. They finding their neighborhoods and gang stalking these YouTubers, the famous ones. And famous Christian preachers. All these preachers on TV, they all being gang stalked. See, that's how far the rabbit hole goes. Now you see how corny they was with making it seem like it was just me. Man, they were gang stalking they gang stalking all these famous preachers. Pay attention to they moves and that's why I give them a pass, because I know they being gang stalked. You know what I'm saying? The mood swings, it's all there. Being irritable, being you know, like I give them a pass because I know what they're going through. You look at all these famous preachers and everything. Some of them getting sick. That's witchcraft. Look at these leaders, man, and see some of them ain't gonna know till they get to heaven. The reason why you're getting sick is gang stalking. It's witchcraft. That's what it is. They're targeting all these famous preachers, famous Christian YouTubers. They're targeting them too. They're targeting anybody that stands out as a Christian. And guess who's fueling it? A lot of these gay and lesbian people. Yes, they are. They the ones that's the most threatened because of what the Bible says about homosexuality and lesbianism. Not because we doing something to them. They threatened because of what the Bible says. And they know the Bible don't agree with it. So they hate us. They just wake up hating us. They just wake up and choose to hate us. You know what I'm saying? And that's the truth. That's how it is. You know what I'm saying? They think we're a threat to them living the lifestyle they want to live, and we not a threat because I don't really care what you're doing. You ain't gonna never find me obsessed with homosexuality and lesbian lifestyle where I'm out here trying to talk about these people. I don't care about what they're doing. See, the prophet is gonna be my whole approach is totally different. You can't assume nothing about me. Like as if with something based on something you heard. I don't care about what they're doing. I don't care. But they care. They feel like they on some corny. They on the corny train too. Well, they think we against them or something. Like we at war against them. Like some corny stuff like that. And ain't nobody thinking about them. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So they out there too. So that's why if you see a whole bunch of gay and lesbian people, they all part of the gang stalkers. Thinking Christian, it's a war between them and Christians. That's 7 out. Yeah, that's what they think. They think gay people and lesbians think it's a war against Christians. That's what that's corny. It's retarded. Ain't nobody think about them like that. And then, and my thing is this: we know they cowards because they won't face Muslims. Muslims hate you with a passion. The Muslims is the ones that's killing you in different countries. The Muslims are the ones that hate these homosexuals and lesbians. You get killed in different countries by Muslims, not by Christians. But you don't want that type of smoke with the Muslims. I know that. Because you don't know what the Muslims gonna do to you. The Muslims might turn up and go get an AK-47. Yeah, you know that. Say it like Shorty Low, you know that. You know that. Muslims gonna get an AK-47. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won't smoke with these tenderoni Christians, these tender Christians. No, I'm talking about the ones that's really, they ain't really educated on the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They just got the label. You know what I'm saying? They ain't out here sliding like I am. They ain't sliding and spinning blocks like I am. So, but you thought I was one of them. You thought I was one of these soft cats you could play with. You found out the hard way, buddy. I stay armed, don't play no games. See, that's why God knew he could put me in this position. Because I definitely ain't playing with you. I told you, listen, I catch a body and go to the bodega, surrender at the bodega. That they ain't gonna try these gay and lesbian people that's secretly fighting Christians. You need to hear that too. These gay and lesbians that's secretly fighting Christians with witchcraft and gang stalking in public. They the ones putting money behind it. You know it gotta be somebody corny. I mean, come on, man, it's no secret. A lot of these gay and lesbian people are super corny. Did you notice that? It don't matter how hard they try, they come off corny, don't they? Like they trying too hard. You ain't get that vibe. Like they try too hard, even if you're trying to just kick it. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. They try too hard, and they come off corny. You know what I'm saying? They talk too much and come off corny. They think too much. They overthink. They a lot of them are corny. And you know what that? You know why they corny? Because they not sure who they are. They confused. Look at it for what it is. They don't really know what their sexuality is. And think about it. Even with that being said, you don't even really know who you are. So you know you're not confident in who you really are, and it comes off corny, and that's why it comes off corny. I can explain everything I'm talking about, man. That's all I'm saying. And a lot of them come off corny, and they gonna do corny stuff like trying to put money on us. Got people riding around playing with a straight dude ain't gonna do that, man. Most of them are gay and lesbian people. And I can tell by their actions, because I know what straight dudes gonna do. I know what the streets gonna do. It gotta be half of them are gay people. So that's why if you see a whole bunch of gay people on your path, a whole bunch of lesbians, that is the secret societies and the gang stalkers, the Freemasons and all of that. That's all it is. They should have stayed in their lane. You know what I'm saying? Now nobody don't care nothing about them, because this real war is popping off, and we could care less what's going on in the gay community. I really could. I could care less. I couldn't care less. I'm going to say it like a black man would say it. I'm going to take that term and say it how I want to say it. I couldn't care less, which means I could not care less than I care right now. I'm thinking about Greenland. I'm thinking about Europe. I'm thinking about these wars that's going on in South America and Venezuela, all this stuff that's going on, man. I don't care. I mean, I could care less. I couldn't care less than I care right now. No less could I care. It's too much real stuff popping off, and I'm glad too, man, because it ain't no room to be sitting up here talking about no gay people no more. I'm so glad. We ain't no room to care about it and talk about it. Nobody ain't talking about it. Nobody ain't caring about it. We looking at all this real stuff popping off. That's all we looking at. And they just wait for somebody to start talking about them again. They just wait for their cue for some people to start paying them attention again. Hey, that time ain't gonna come no more. That time is gone. You can always be here, but you're gonna be here with us facing warfare, facing the same war, and that's what it's gonna be. America's in danger, and that means you too. That means the gay and lesbian community too. You in danger. You got to go through these Trump putting tariffs on everybody. You right here with us. So for you to say we always will be here, yeah, right here with us. Right here with us. That's where you be. That's where you gonna be at. Right here with the same stuff we going through. You always gonna be right here with us, going through this same stuff. See, we all going through this. And listen, ain't nobody worried about no gay and lesbian, what they doing and all. We don't care about that. See, what is gonna happen is all that lifestyle you living gonna get swallowed up in this real war. The food stamps and all of that stuff, that affected all these little gay dudes and all that had their food stamps, halted for a minute. You going through this real stuff. You going through real stuff. And it ain't nobody trying to hear all this other stuff what they talking about with their sexuality. All that's gone. All this, basically how you need to hear it, man, is all of that talking about gay community and gay stuff, that's going to be swallowed up in human beings trying to survive. And ain't nobody asking you about your sexuality. We all going to be just trying to survive, in other words. Ain't nobody going to be thinking about you or what you do sexually. That's gone. Now you see what time we living in. It's gone. We ain't thinking about it. All we think about is what's about to happen with these wars. Now you see what I'm saying? That's how, when war pops off, ain't nobody thinking about this gay stuff. I'm so glad that's happening. So you can stop acting like it's all about you. We don't care nothing about what you're doing. I promise you I don't. I don't lose no sleep, and I do not obsess over you. I am not one of them people. I am not one of them Christians sitting up worried about what gay people doing in they life, in their lifestyle. I don't care. I really mean that. I do not sit up and obsess over you. You know what I'm saying? And so it's funny that you obsess over me because I definitely don't obsess over you. I don't care what you're doing. I don't think about what you're doing. Okay? I don't care what you're doing. That voodoo is not working. We beating Papa Leba. We beating Papa Leba, Grand Zombie, and Block Donnie. Okay? You came out here like gangbangers and gang. Listen, man. Man, listen, bro. It ain't. Listen, it is not about. It's not about to be what you think it is. You know, it really isn't. It really isn't. What it's about to be, man, is all of this is about to be swallowed up. Like just swallowed up. All these issues, all these people, all these different groups of people, all this stuff is all gonna be swallowed up in war. All everybody gonna be consumed with is warfare. Nothing else. Everybody getting swallowed up. Everybody. That's what it's going to. That's what it's coming to. If you don't know what it's coming to, everybody's gonna be thinking about war. That. Nothing else. That. So just get used to the thought, man. Just get used to the thought. Everybody's gonna be thinking about war, man. Ain't nobody thinking about what people doing in their personal life and they, you know what I'm saying? Like they doing us. And even if I was obsessing off of gay people, they couldn't even say nothing how they been obsessing over my life. You couldn't even say nothing. That's how good my situation is. You couldn't even say nothing if I started obsessing over your life, much as you've been obsessing over mine. Much as you've been obsessing over mine, you couldn't even say nothing. But I ain't doing that. That's all I'm saying. All I'm doing is putting things in proper perspective, man. For people that's really out here gang stalking, we know it's gay, lesbian people. That's why they was even brought up, because we know it's you. We know you part of it. You know what I mean? We know that. Lesbians and everything. We know that. They part of it too. It ain't just gay dudes, it's lesbians too. Let's add that part too. You know what I'm saying? The feminine gay women. Not the ones that's the studs all the time. You know, some people are just, you know, simple-minded. You think about the what we call back in the day bull dykes. The butches. You know what I'm saying? But it's that they're not the only ones. You know, you got these feminine gay women. They got all the hair, the lipstick, all of that, man, and then they gay. You know what I'm saying? And they decided to come out here and play with us. You know, and then you know you can't hide behind the cloak of being gay people. We don't care about that. That's not why. Why? It's because you came out here and played and gang stalked God's people. That's the only reason. But we know that you know you want to oppose us because you know what the Bible says about homosexuality and lesbianism. It is people in America like that, and I know you know that. If you don't, you ain't in the modern day and time. It's American people that oppose Christians just because they're gay or lesbian and what the Bible says about homosexuality and lesbianism. So you just hate Christians because of that. It's a certain Americans that hate Christians not because they doing nothing to them, not because a Christian did anything to them. I can't stress that enough. It's not because they had a bad experience with a Christian. No, it's not because of that. It's because you're already instantaneously intimidated and threatened because of what the Bible says on homosexuality and lesbianism, and we have to bear that. We have to bear you being intimidated and threatened by what the Bible says. But you will say you love God, but you hate us. That's a coward. If you was real, you would say, look, I got a problem with the Bible. I got a problem with God. A Christian is following the Bible. How can I be mad at them? No, they following the Bible, so I'm gonna be mad at the Bible. I'm gonna be mad at God. But you'll be the same type of cowards that's mad at us, but not mad at the Bible. Make it make sense, bro. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Mad at us, but you're not mad at the Bible. Mad at us, but you're not mad at God. God the one gave the commandment. God is the one that commanded us not to indulge in homosexuality and lesbianism. But you a coward. I call it how it is. It's easy to face the Christian, but you don't want to face the Bible. You don't want to face God. You don't want to face these Muslims, but just face the good guy, the nice guy. That's a coward all day, man. That's a coward. I call it how it is. You ain't gonna face these Muslims. No. You know what time it is because you scared of what a Muslim gonna do to you. You know a Muslim might physically fight you. And they might play around a Muslim in public. These old Muslim dudes, go up to one of them and talk about who you are as a gay person. They gonna say, get away from me. Get away. Get away. They gonna tell you, get away from me. You know I'm right. Man, you can't even talk to them, man. You can't even, they might spit in your face. And you can try to fight them, then they got them crazy, the Muslim got them crazy, and I mean this in the right way. They got them violent, crazy nephews. Hey, Muslim got them nephews, don't they? Hey, they got them nephews, don't they? Hey, the nephew come in a pickup truck. Ride by, oh, my uncle in trouble. He gonna jump out. What you think he gonna do to you? Strong as an ox too. The Muslim be working, don't they? Throwing around stuff, working. Hey, that little nephew strong as an ox, man. He done pulled up on you trying to chastise his uncle, trying to play with his uncle. Hey, trying to check his uncle. You trying to check his uncle, huh? Hey, the nephew done pulled up on you. Got a strap on him and everything, buddy. That's what I'm saying. You know better. You ain't gonna try these Muslims, and that's all I'm talking about. I'll challenge any gay and lesbian to have the same energy that you got with Christians with the Muslims. Have that same energy. You ain't gonna do it because you already know. Your next thought is gonna be, your second thought is gonna be, they might do something to me physically. I guarantee you're gonna think that. You see a Muslim, them serious, they be looking serious too. That's just real. You don't see them smile a lot. I'm just being real. They be looking serious. You know you ain't gonna go into that store and try that, man. You know that. You trying to get in and out. You know what I'm saying? Before they lock the door on you. Nah, I'm just joking. Hey, but you're trying to get out of there, man. You know what I'm saying? You know the lifestyle you live. You know that and see, they'll act cool with the Muslims, won't they? That part, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. That's a coward, man. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna, and they the ones that hate you the most. That's what I'm tripping off of. Like, man, look, man. It ain't no secret them Muslims hate you the most. Them people would kill you just for being gay in another country. Christians ain't doing that. Christians are not doing that around the world, killing gay people. Muslims are. Muslims are doing that. And you don't want that kind of smoke, bro. So how I look at it, man, half these Americans, man, you do not face your greatest enemies, man. That's why I be tripping off you. You'll face who you think you can beat. All the Americans are like that. Watch all of them. They'll fight who they think they can beat. They won't fight a challenge like I did, like me and you do. No, they won't face a challenge. They'll fight who they think they can beat. Not somebody who is a challenge that's gonna give you some real credibility. No, you ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna go fight these Muslims. No, you ain't gonna do that. You're gonna play around the good, nice Christians. See, you done size them up. Oh, that's a soft person. That's a corny person. You done size them up. You know the Muslims are a little more masculine. Yeah, that's that part. You know they got them little nephews in their 20s and 30s that ain't playing no games. Man, they see you playing with their uncle, man. What you think they gonna do to you? I guarantee you, first thing they gonna do is throw you off of them. Are they gonna throw you off first and foremost? That's what they gonna do. They ain't gonna hit you. They ain't gonna punch you first. Most likely, they gonna throw you off of your uncle, off of their uncle, and see what you want to do next. If you get back up, they gonna hit you. They might pull a strap on you. I'm telling you. I mean, that's what it is. They got manhood. They got a lot of manhood over there in the Muslim community. You are not finna come over there and try them, and I know that for sure. I know that for sure. I know that for sure. So then imagine how you would feel if they try to face off with you, but then you know they won't try these Muslims. Yeah, and now keep in mind they tried me first, right? Right, correct, right? They not gonna try these Muslims. That's what I'm saying. They not gonna initiate nothing with no Muslim. No, they not. And it's not because Muslims ain't saying nothing. Muslims hate them the most, and they ain't gonna say nothing to them. And remind you, half the times we ain't said nothing to them. No, we haven't. No, we haven't. We ain't said nothing to them. But they hate us because they think we soft. They think they can play with us. They think I can just, oppose this person. I just don't like this person. I can express it. But you won't express it with these Muslims. And that's what I'm saying. So you ain't dealing with no stupid idiot, man. You know what I'm saying? I know you won't challenge these Muslims. That's what I'm talking about. I know you won't challenge these Muslims. They ain't gonna do that. You know that. Come on, you know that, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just keep coming back on this, man. Keeping it 100.